am. Here we go. Here we go, people. Here we go. I'm not quite set up quite just yet. As you come in, I'm going to show something real quick. As we're speaking, I'm releasing some videos. I wish I could do I just made 3 videos last night for my members. So I'm going to shout you guys out here in a second. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Now I know I keep shouting out the same guys that are in my membership, man. I'm just excited they're part of the team. So I'm going to keep doing it. Holy shit. So we got a list today. God damn. All right, we got a list today. Really quick. When you're a member, you're automatically, I'm going to shout you guys out in front of everybody else and read your comment. Chris is a member. Says morning SoCal. Getting a new windshield here in Barstow. Oh, my dude, James. James, would you like to join the show today, James? James is a member of the SoCal group. I would like a couple of other people intake on this. There's going to be pros and cons. This is going to be a really, really good learning session today. And this ain't throwing shots at nobody. It's going to just be all facts, information. And, you guys can do as you wish. James says, just watching member videos. Yeah, I'm putting more of them up, man. I'm putting more of them up as we speak. So I still got more to put up, man. That's what I've been working on. Working hard. What up, Callie? You can come in here too, my dude. You can come in here too, my dude. Let me shout out my members real quick. I'm looking over on the other screen. We got DJ the Trucker, just joined. We got Kevin. We got Brandon Bearden. We got Mad Trucker 830. Rasa. We got Jeremy. We got Pollywood. We got Cool Trucking. Ronald of Alabama. We got Banks. We got another Ronald, and his last name is, and I ain't trying to screw this shit up, so I'm going to spell it Sliski. Quick Hit. Richie Rich. You already know the other trucker names. James Best is up in here. Herb. I apologize. Herb. 18 Wheels. As you see, Chris in the comments. Shannon Trucking. Acer. Anthony Arnett. Crossroads. Flex. Trucking Reverse. Man, shout out to all you guys, man. Rocking with me, man. Appreciate that. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. We got, no.
Oh, what do we have here?
We got the wrong one in here.
Hey, man.
How you doing, Callie? How you doing, buddy?
What's good, man? Good to see you.
Are you a member?
In action.
Thank you, man. Are you a member of my channel yet?
This channel?
Yeah, you got to join the membership, brother.
Oh, I didn't know.
What up, James?
How are you doing?
What up?
You got to go to the subscribe, man, and do that. See, James, especially Callie right here, man, because, anytime he's in a situation, Chase and Andrew Jackson will hit me up. We'll be on through with Callie. We try to help him. He don't listen for shit, but it sounds good coming out my goddamn mouth, you know what I'm saying? But he don't listen for shit, you know what I'm saying?
Never
taking notes.
Yeah, he's taking notes with crayon and coloring book, and he's going to throw it away at the end of the day kind of situation. So you guys see the video. It's going to be a great topic. It's pros and cons of a cash truck, leasing a truck, buying a truck, and all that. And I really want your guys' input on that. I'm going to start off real quick. That there's pros and cons in everything, right? So there's nothing perfect in trucking, no matter how you do your business plan in trucking. And buying a truck, paying cash for a truck, leasing a truck, whatever your business plan suits you guys the best, work your business plan. Me, myself, I like cash trucks, but I have them all. I have all of it, for my business plan. But before I get started, I want you two to think about what you're going to say real quick and which department while I shout some of these folks out. I don't want them feeling like they got ignored or not, you know what I'm saying? Because, so we got to get that out of the way. We got Ken. Callie, I would like to see you joining the membership before you get off, please.
I'm joining right now.
All right. James Haley, how you doing? Max Force, Ray Davis in the building. What's going on? I'm gonna put your comment up, man, because I don't want to screw your name up. How do we pronounce that, guys?
Renee.
That's how you say that? Is it Renee?
I'd say Renee. Renew.
Renee.
Renew. Well, I apologize, brother. I'm ignorant as a trucker.
Let's call him A. Let's call him A.
So I put your comment up, man, just out of respect, because I apologize for screwing your name up. We got Jay, the day cab driver, Jaywalk, Jeremy, Big Dog 1975, Mr. Misunderstood. We got Felix, how you doing? He says, what's good, my brother? Not sure how to subscribe as a member. Well, when you have an Android, it's right next to the subscribe button. You hit join. There's 5 levels. If you guys have an iPhone, here's how you guys have to do it. Because I keep getting messages about the iPhone situation. And James, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Because I'm learning this myself. I'm brand new at this. But you have to go to your iPhone. You have to go to the web browser. You have to put in YouTube as the desktop. Click on it, and then click on my picture, and then it'll show it right next to the subscribe button, I guess, James?
Yeah. And you can also, SoCal, go on your computer and go to YouTube Studio, and then you'll see, if you scroll down on the left side, you'll see the link that you can copy that, then paste it in the chat as well.
I don't see that. I'm in Studios right now on my other screen.
Yeah,
content
it's on the left side. There's going to be 2 links. One is going to have the link for the video, and then to share the link to the video, and then there's going to be one that you can membership. You can copy that.
Got it.
Copy that link and throw that in the chat.
Viewers who join your channel, share your members only videos. The hell? Invite viewers to join your channel. It wouldn't be that one, right?
Join your channel. Yep, that's it. Yep, copy that.
Let me see if this works. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I have that up because I was reading my new members out.
Yeah.
So we got my driver in the building. Good old Kenny. What's up, Kenny? What up, Benz? He said, yep. Okay. So he said it's all good. So I guess it's Renee. I don't know. So I hope that helps you out there, Felix. If not, let me know. Maybe I'll have to put it in the description or whatnot. So, first of all, bag chasers, Callie, if you guys know. Explain to everybody who you are exactly as far as how are you sitting in that truck? What is it in your situation before you speak your opinion?
Me? Oh, opinion on what? On the topic, the trucks?
Yeah, pros and cons on leasing a truck, buying a truck, paying cash for a truck.
Okay. Well,
but you gotta let them know.
Uh-huh.
You gotta let them know what kind of truck you're in. Oh shit! Hey, just guess what, James? Let me show you this. Oh, Stuart finally.
There you go, Stu.
Joined the membership. Finally.
There you go, Stu.
Go ahead, Kylie, and then we'll go with James.
Yes, sir.
Are you buying a truck, leasing a truck, or you paid cash?
I'm gonna buy a truck.
What are you? So you're driving in someone's truck right now, then?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
Is my mic not working?
No, you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Are you driving for somebody or are you driving for yourself?
This is a lease truck right now.
Okay, that's what I'm speaking on. So you're leasing a truck, right?
Right.
Okay. So pros and cons of leasing a truck.
pros, if you're smart, you can find the right company, mainly Russian, apparently, that can pay you $46,000 if you're willing to work for it. But cons, you're gonna get fucked over for your money. Over 50% of the time, they're gonna shave off the top, which means they'll book it for $2,500 and give it to you for $2,000. Nothing you can do about that. You'll never know unless you got the balls to call the broker and call them out. And the last thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, like if you don't know what you're supposed to be making, you're gonna get fucked over. Truck could be making 10,000, and after everything's said and done, you're only getting 25, 35 because they shave it so bad off the top. But you're satisfied with that because you used to make it 15-2. So that's how I see it. If they ever want to fire your ass, now you back to zero, homeless, or whatever the fuck your situation is. No truck, no trailer. Yeah, so that's how I see it. So get in and get out as soon as you can. That's how I see it.
And what's your opinion on a cash truck? What's pros and cons on a cash truck? Your opinion. And let's try to keep kind of factual stuff. Let's try not to assume some stuff like guys shaving off the top, and I mean, because all that stuff, none of that stuff's ever been proven, right? But we all have opinions on it. We all have
it's
opinions
been proven.
on it.
I got buddies who I did 3-way calls, called the broker, and just called. I'm talking about full blown out, bro. I wouldn't come over here and waste your time.
Brokers lie. James, did broker lie? Do brokers lie, James?
They stretch it, sure. Yeah.
Hey, well, there you go. Far as cash trucks, I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, far as cash trucks, I think chasing Andrew Jackson is the best example of that. 15 bands, got 2 years out of it. I think he did like 6 to 8 in it to rebuild the motor. Already down another year. Threw a tranny in there and still rolling. I mean, owner operator. I mean, he's at the top. Cash truck is always gonna be the way to go, man. That's just enough said right there. I'm not trying to ride his dick or anything, but that's really the way to go. Especially with SoCal had hit on one time, like we don't know where the market going. The market falls back to $2 a mile. You already own the equipment. Yeah, $2 a mile may still bring you home 3 to 4, and you'll be happy with that. This shit, that's all profit. So cash truck's the way to go. That's the way I plan on going.
Sorry about that. That was Trucker Exec, James. He's going to join us.
Oh, there you go.
Really quick, we have a new member in the building. Woo! You know what? I'm going to tell you guys something. I have this, and I haven't learned how to use it yet. Let me show it to you guys. But when I do, and you guys join, we're going to have some fun with it. See that stream deck? Boom. It's just here for now, just because it looks good at the table. I don't even know if it even works. Let me see something. Let me see. Tell me if you guys hear this. Did you guys hear that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. This $9.99 a month.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off with this membership for $9.99 a month.
That's where it starts.
Oh yeah, let me join that immediately.
There's a lot. No, but there's a lot to offer that. Like I'm dropping 3 videos right now as we speak. Trucker 21 is a new member of the channel, man. I appreciate that. Hey, there's Trucker Exec right there. Trucker Exec, hit the link. If you'd like to join us, man, give some game. Trucker Exec has a lot of game in his trucking stuff. So Callie, so you explained about pros and cons of leasing and paying cash. You want to say anything else?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I mean, paying cash. I think paying cash just assumes the less risk. I mean, let's just be quite frank. I'm talking about paying cash knowing you're going to rebuild the motor. I'm not talking about paying cash and, changing a few parts and hoping when you get to Wyoming, that motor gonna stay strong for you. I say paying cash, knowing that 8 to 10 grand is going in the motor as soon as you bring it to the house. That's paying cash to me. If you're not doing that, then you're taking chances. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, paying cash, man, get you a $15,000, $20,000 truck, slap a new end frame in it, try to go around under the hood if you can and knock everything out. Close the hood up, never have to open it again for a good few years, if you ask me. So I think that's the better route to go.
So the cool thing,
You
so
know,
even though you're not listening to me and no chasing, you are learning. See, that's the thing, James. They might not listen, god dang it, but we pound that in their brains long enough. They're learning. They're learning.
Yeah, it'll sink in.
So James and anybody in the chat, if you guys want to jump in and speak your mind on this topic, go right ahead. So James, so tell everybody about your truck situation, and then leasing, pros and cons, paying cash, pros and cons, and buying a truck on payments, pros and cons. It's all yours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got a truck trailer. We got Osters driving it on a percentage. So, the pros on a lease is that it gives you a chance to get in the industry to find out if it's your gig, if you can handle dispatching yourself and things of that nature. The payments are high, right? But if it doesn't work out, you just drop the truck off. You might owe a couple $1,000 or something when you turn that truck back in, but it's not a commitment. We're purchasing a truck. Now you got to try reselling it or whatever you're going to do with it. I think there's a lot of benefits to lease. I wouldn't finish the lease and actually own the truck. I wouldn't go that far. But to get your feet in the water to see where you're at with it and see if the industry, as far as being an owner operator, is good. Because the odds are it's going to be a new truck. It's going to have a warranty. You're not going to have a whole lot of out of pocket with it. The con is that it's a weekly payment that never ends. So if you take a week off, you're already in the hole, and then looking at another payment. As far as buying a truck, the pro is that it's a monthly payment versus a weekly payment. Usually the insurance is going to be less because the value of the truck is less. The con is that buying that cash truck, you're going to have to throw money at it. I mean, we are talking now you don't have a warranty. You're going to have the maintenance. You're going to have the breakdowns that you wouldn't have with a lease truck. And I'd probably say with the first year, you should probably be throwing money at it as if you were paying for a lease, because you got to get that truck right. And these trucks that they're, you buy for 15 grand, they ain't going to be hands free for a year. You're going to be throwing money at it. If you don't understand that you're going to be throwing money at it, and you think, well, if I could get 2 months out of this truck before it starts breaking, I'm going to say unlikely. So you got to have the cash or the credit to be able to keep that thing on the road. With a lease truck, you don't have that problem. 90% of the time, it's going to be under warranty. It's going to be a brand new truck. You're not going to have those issues. But you got to be ready either way. You got to be ready to commit to those big payments on a lease, but then you have to commit to when you're buying a truck that you got to throw maintenance money at it. Because if you pocketed all the revenue from that truck, which there's a lot of money changing hands in the trucking industry, and if you start going and buying stuff because now you're getting 10 grand a week or 8 grand a week, and if you're not throwing any of that back into the truck, it's going to be short-lived.
Really quick, Kylie Davis is a new member of the channel, everybody. New member of the channel right here. While he's on the board,
thank you, Kylie.
That's what's up. And I see. Thank you, man. And Trucker Exec, I definitely appreciate you joining us today, my dude. And so Trucker 21 says, "Hey Nevada, what up today?" And then Stuart says, "There's no right answer to what the best option. There's a lot of factors and equations like warranty, cost of ownership, and stuff like that." I'm gonna get into that too. That's what's so great. Cool Trucking is a member. He said, "Well, just 15 minutes late. Not too bad. Man, my members are keeping me busy reading these things. It's good for me, exec." All right. Cool Trucking says, "I myself would never lease on a weekly basis, monthly only." All right. Here's my take. And I pinned the link to the top, guys. That way I don't have to keep it in the chat. And I just
Wait.
You already got your turn, Colin. You ain't getting no other turn. You already got your turn.
It ain't another turn. You got to specify. Are we talking lease like I'm doing with the Russians? Or are we talking about lease purchase or lease to own like at Lone Star Mountain? Or we're talking about lease to lease at like
see, this is what you should have asked when you gave your opinion, right? So
Lord.
just like James, we're talking about a cash truck. James thought we're talking about a $15,000 truck. See, and I left that wide open on
Well,
purpose.
what cash truck you talking? $80,000 truck? Because I tell you what, these
Right.
fools ain't got 80K. They ain't got 80K to throw down on a truck.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, you're not getting 80K being a company guy. You're not saving 80K. Most company guys are living paycheck to paycheck.
I know when I started, I had the money in the bank to pay cash for a brand spanking new one.
Well, that likelihood is not happening for anybody else. For the majority of the industry, they're not throwing 200K on nothing.
Well, it wasn't 200K when I started. It was like I think a new truck, 389. Excuse me, wasn't even 389. It was a 379 back in 2004 or 5. I think they were going for like 103,000 around that time.
Yeah.
103,000. I just released 3 new videos for you guys, James and Kylie. Well, Kylie got a whole lot of videos to go watch from us in Vegas. But these 3 videos I just dropped today, James, is our Vegas trip. You know, you're in a lot of them. I still haven't made the video about the one at the barbecue joint.
Yeah.
I still haven't made that video yet. You know, I'm still doing the video showing up and all that kind of stuff. We still haven't did the one at the barbecue joint yet. That was funny. Nevada, if you'd like to join in, anybody want to join into the panel and speak on it, speak on it. This ain't just my intake. So here we go. There's so much to talk about when we're talking about leasing, buying, and paying cash, right? We could be here for days and really, really, truly break it down, right? And when you speak on any of these divisions or whatever you want to call them, there's always opinionated situations, right? And so I'm going to say leasing, right? So I can say, hey, leasing, you have less control, but then you have people that lease through, there's other companies, whatever, where it's not through a mega carrier and they can take their truck wherever they want, right? So I need to break it down. So leasing with a mega carrier, the cons is you can't take your truck anywhere. They kind of control you, right? Because
not all of them. Schneider, you can move that truck from Schneider and then move to other places. So you can get on the spot market. I mean, you can move a Schneider truck.
And that's great, and that's why I have you guys on the board. See, I don't know Schneider, right?
Yeah.
So now I have to take it back and say most mega carriers, not all, most. See, I get corrected. Most mega carriers, they want to control you to where you can't move your truck where you want it to go to make the money. And so that's a con. The pro of it all is hopefully some of them, not all, some of them you can probably get a shop that they have that's cheaper. Their insurance is cheaper. Maybe fuel discounts might be cheaper. There's a lot of things they offer with the lease program. That's the pros. So the only con I see that I can see, and there's a whole lot, but I'm not going to spend like an hour just on talking about leasing, is most of you can't move your truck around. And most leases are pretty expensive, and they're not for you, they're against you. Most of them, not all.
But it's expensive, but we're looking at a brand new truck. And that's the big difference.
Nope. VL
well,
trucking
if you go to
is
Schneider,
used
odds are you're going to get a brand new truck. I mean, you could get a used one for less money, but more times than not, people are going to choose the brand new one.
Yeah, I have mentees in VL, right? I have mentees in VL, and those used trucks are expensive as hell.
Yeah,
expensive as hell. Hold up, we got a new member in the building. Old Patrick, Patrick's also one of my mentees. Good old Patrick, man. Welcome to the membership there, Patrick. That's what's up. So that's one thing I like about my mentee program is because I get a lot of truckers, in all realms of trucking, right? Working everywhere, doing a lot of different things all over the place. And even though I'm not speaking their business, speaking their name, that gives me some experience that I've never experienced, right? Does that make sense? So, so most of the time in trucking can't say all this, all that, because there's always an exception out there because trucking is a $700 billion industry. So I can only just say most, right? So as far as leasing, that's where I'm at with that. Buying a truck, uh, the pros is if you do it right, they're going to report it to your business credit. They're going to report to your business credit. So that's going to establish your corporation credit, right? At least it's not going to establish your corporation credit. So that's another con towards the lease. Do you agree, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you're
definitely.
leasing, there's
Forgot
no
about
credit.
that.
But in some cases, like my case with Schneider, I was only there for 3 months with that high payment. And when I went to go purchase the 680, I went through Fast Lane Leasing out of Arizona. And they did, even though there's no credit per se of Schneider, if you could verify that you've paid all those payments, some places will still work with you as far as financing the truck. Because if you've stayed up on those payments, which are ridiculously high, if you can pay that payment weekly or monthly, then the payment on buying a $50,000 truck is 1 week of Schneider money. So you're already paying 4 times more than what that bank is going to borrow, what your bank note's going to be. And sometimes they won't have a problem borrowing it, but it does not show up on your credit. So going to a bank, traditional bank, and trying to get it, probably pretty tough.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing a lot of people don't know. Let's say if you guys are leasing with somebody, real quick, let me put what executive said. He says IMO most critical factors is liability to run any freight, not simply the leasing carrier's freight. True, true, true. So, but here's the thing: a lot of people don't understand. If it's not on your corporation credit, right, and you guys are paying a lease through somebody else or whatever, and most of the time, not all the time, when you're leasing, that registration is normally not in your name. So basically the only thing you can't, and they ask for that, right? They ask for, can you get a registration that's in your name showing you're paying on something? So they want to show something, and sometimes you can just establish it as far as settlements. If they're taking the payments out and it says truck payment or lease truck payment, as long as you can establish you're making a truck note, sometimes some banks will look at that as a credit.
Correct.
Sometimes.
And then it's going to be based on your personal credit. So if your personal credit is shit, then odds are no one's going to do it. But the whole reality is that you can get a loan for a truck with a 640 credit score. I mean, that's a fact. 640 is all you need.
Well, again, there's finance companies. If you got a 580, you can get it. And how does that go? That goes what I told you guys before about the risk factor, right? So the risk factor is if, let's say the truck is $60,000 and you're putting 50% down, you took away the risk factor.
Well, it is a commercial, so if you are putting 20% down, I mean, it's a commercial loan, you're going to do 20%. Now that might change to 40%. Because the banks are already talking about any commercial loan as far as like buying real estate, things of that nature. They're looking for 40%. So
right.
it might fall into where these trucks are going to be 40% down, especially when you're talking that these trucks are doubling in price.
Right. And we pretty much covered that when we called all these companies up. We still haven't called a lot of bank shit about how that goes, but we did get some insight of some banks on my previous live streams. So so pros on buying a truck is if you go with the right dealership and you go with the right bank, then it will report to your credit. You guys have to be aware though. Sometimes if the truck is real cheap and Kylie, we hear you sucking on that thing, right?
I'm sorry, bro.
You're good, brother. You're good. That thing is loud. It's like
I'm gonna keep it up.
yeah.
Can you hear anything else? Can you hear the truck or the air conditioner or the engine?
I think just that because it's next to your mouth.
Pros. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Well, yeah. No, you're good, bro. Just I'm talking out here. I'm like. But anyway, so that's a good thing about it. But sometimes if your guys' credit's bad and they find a finance company, it's not gonna get reported to your credit. I want you guys to know that sometimes. And sometimes they'll lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, it'll get reported." You sign the papers, next thing you know, it doesn't get reported. Now that could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're a guy that with bad credit and you're going to get late on some payments or some stuff like that, and it just doesn't get reported. So there's always goods and bads to every situation that we think that might be bad. So making payments, it can get reported to your credit. Cons. The cons of that is if you don't have your business plan together, you don't have your bank together, you don't have things together. Once you make 1 30-day late, you just killed yourself on commercial.
Yeah.
Right, Kylie?
That's what I heard.
Kylie can suck on that goddamn thing. So once you make 30 days late, you pretty much killed your credit, you know. So when you go that route, you really want to make sure you're ready to go.
You gotta have your shit together. I mean, it's business, for Christ's sake.
And that's a pro on leasing, right? The pro on leasing is you're not going to screw it up because they're going to take it out. But the con on it now is what? The con is they're going to take their money. If you got anything left or not, they're going to take their money.
Yeah.
So there's so many pros and cons. So there's so many pros and cons in this. You know,
and it's a personal choice of where you're at. You know. So I'm not saying that leases are bad, because in my situation, when I got the lease, it was an ideal thing, because one, I didn't know if this was something I wanted to do, if there was money in it for me to even go buy a truck. I didn't know if there was going to be money in it to be worthwhile. So for me, it was just me putting my toe in the water to see if it was something I wanted to get into. Once I found that I could make money and it was something I was into, then I went and I purchased a truck. But I wouldn't come straight out here and buy a truck and just say that it's going to work for you, because it may not be your gig. You may be the worst businessman ever and not know how to do anything correctly. And, you know, you're living high on the hog. And then when something goes wrong, you know, you're losing everything. You know, now you're looking at bankruptcy.
What up, Brandon? Brandon's a member of the channel. Says, what up, what up?
What up, Brandon?
So let's talk about that before I talk about Cash Truck, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're bad on paying stuff, right, then going and buying a truck probably won't be for you. Maybe you need that control where someone controls your money, like a lease, you know, to where they're going to take it out and you get to keep the truck. But the bad thing about that, guys, another thing bad about that is if you can't move your truck around in the lease and they want to, and the freight slows down and they really ain't got nothing, your payments don't slow down. Your cost does not slow down. And that's the dangerous thing. See, in trucking, it's really, really dangerous when a lot of it's out of your hands, you know, and James can tell you about this. You know, you want the most control you can possibly get. But again, the more control you guys have, the more responsibility you have. And when the more responsibility you have, the more knowledge you need to have, because if you don't have the knowledge and you got the responsibility, you're gonna trip on your feet and fall down.
Yeah.
So, cash trucks, right? So, if you're a bad business person, right, I wouldn't say buy a truck and make payments. I wouldn't say do that. I would either tell you to either pay cash for a truck or go lease a truck. And that all depends on the lease. There's $6,000 to $8,000 a month leases. Absolutely not. Nevada, like I said, he's in a good lease. You know, shout out to Nevada. But there's a couple of good lease options out there. But there's only like 10%. The other 90% is just against you. But normally I tell you guys to go pay. If you're bad on making payments, pay cash for your truck. Pay cash for your truck. Set your company up on your insurance where it automatically comes out of your bank account, and just make sure it's there. And just try to pay attention to your business. What do you two got to say about that?
Well, I still think that I'm going to say the majority of people that go buy a truck or even go into a lease truck, it's something that it's hey, I want to be an owner operator today. They don't have the business mindset that, hey, I've got a plan. This is what I'm going to do in the next 2 years. I'm going to save up for it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's just like, hey, somebody offers them a lease option where they're working as a company guy, and then they just say, yeah, I'll do that, you know, and they're going in half-cocked. And that's where they fall off, because they're not asking anything. You could talk to anybody who's a lease operator. They can't even tell you how much they're paying for insurance. They don't know what they're paying for the IRP. They don't know what they're paying for 2290. They don't know what they're paying for they don't know nothing. They don't know what's coming out of their check. All they know is this is what I'm paying. But they don't have a fucking clue, because they're not asking. They're not asking. They're just signing the paperwork and off to the races they go. And that's exactly how they run their business, cluelessly. They don't have a profit loss statement. They've got no software, no back office, and they're just out here trying to run dollars. And then if they've got a paycheck at the end of the week, then they're successful. But they don't know cost per mile. They don't know anything. Unfortunately, there's a lot of drivers out here that don't know shit. They're just out here acting like truck drivers. They're acting like owner operators, but they ain't got their shit together. They're not taking care of it like a business. They just bought themselves a job, is what they've done.
That's hard. I like that. I'm sorry.
What do you guys say, Kylie?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, even when you buy a cash truck, you still go wrong, because you get the truck. Oh yeah, I just paid 20-30 grand. Let's go make all kinds of money. Then the engine blow on you, gasket gone, head gone, whatever the case may be, and now you're on the side of the road getting raped. So I say, even if you're gonna go cash truck, there's proven strategy. There's a proven blueprint to this shit. Again, buy it with the knowing that you're going to rebuild. Rebuild and do more. Throw in a fuel pump, throw in an oil pump, throw in an oil cooler, throw in a maybe not a turbo, but you get the point. All your sensors, all your hoses, all your clamps, all your rubber boots and shit like that. Me personally, I just say everything under the hood should be solid before you take that first load if you're going cash. That way you take as much risk out. If anything do grow out, something as small as U-joints or something like that, or carrier bearings, that's a TA can knock that out. You're not getting raped. So that's how I say go about it. Get the cash truck. And it's not even that bad. Me and Justin was on the line making calls to probably like 6-8 different people on C15 kits. We were getting like what were we getting? 38, 42 at the most. Like, that's a couple hundred more than the 60 series. Labor's still the same. No matter the name of the part. So a name of the kit. So they go 8-9 grand. Price out a few more parts and you'll be solid. So if you're not doing that, you're just asking for a disaster. So
Absolutely. Because if there's a repair or a breakdown that you can't cover, that's what's going to take you out of business. You have to be able to have either the cash on hand or lines of credit to where if you pull that truck out off the curb and it blows up, you got to be able to fix it. If you don't, that's a weakness. That's something. And you can't assume that you're going to get 6 months out of that truck and then acquire that money. You may not. You have to be ready for everything. And if you're not ready for everything, then sit back a little bit. Sit back until you are ready. Work on your credit score, so at least you can throw it on a credit card. Worst case scenario, you got to be able to cover these repairs and not assume that the truck is going to make it for you.
Speaking of cash on hand, this is what he's talking about, people. Okay, cash on hand.
Yeah.
All right, this is 2.5.
This guy.
Joke. Sorry.
So Trucker Exec says the driver needs to be honest with themselves. They really have the worth ethic commitment for a lease. It's not just driving a truck. It's serious commitment to manage your business.
You have to know your real cost per mile. Real cost per mile, including paying yourself, not just what the truck is going to cost you, but paying yourself. And if you don't have that simple equation down, and right now, cost per mile doesn't mean shit right now because the rates are ridiculous. So you could be a complete moron and still make money. But the problem with it is if and when this thing pops, you got to have your shit together. You got to know what's the worst case scenario that you can haul a load. And if you don't know that, I mean, you're already fish out of water. You're already short-lived.
There's two problems in trucking, right? There's two things in trucking that'll put you guys in as far as a failing situation right off the top. Number one is assuming, right? So what's assuming mean? So assuming means we talk about a cash truck, we're automatically must be talking about a $10,000 junky ass truck, right? So that's assuming, right? It could be a brand new truck the guy paid cash for. It could be an $80,000 truck with 200,000 miles that paid cash for. You know, buying a truck. So we can assume when you buy a truck, that's the best deal. But dude got 28% interest on an $80,000 loan. I would never tell anybody to do something like that because
Well, I disagree with that because it's like buying a house, right? It's the hardest part is getting it, right? Once you get it, you can refinance it. You know, when I went through fast lane leasing, it was a 17% interest rate. I did it for a year and then I financed it with my bank for 5.25. So it's getting the truck is the hard part. What you do after that, that's
but what
easy.
you do is different, bro. You do things different. You got a whole bunch of credit cards you manage.
Oh, absolutely.
So you and I and Kylie and everybody else watching, we have to kind of take ourselves out of this and just put the normal realm truck driver. You know what I'm saying? And,
well, I'm gonna say a normal truck driver ain't gonna
is,
have any cash money. If they got $40,000 put down on a truck and they got a shitty credit score, then why do they have a shitty credit score? They need to work on their credit score because you are a business. It is based around credit. And if your credit score is shit, but you got 40 grand, you need to take that 40 grand and get your scores right. You need to get your credit right. Because you're not going to go anywhere doing cash only. You just ain't. Because you're not that rebuild for 28 grand, it ain't going to be cash. You're going to finance it out for 5 years. And if you don't have the credit, you're out of business. You're going to be out of business.
People don't go doing rebuilds for 28 grand now. That's all I can say on that.
Well, we're throwing, you're throwing new turbo on, you're putting a new water, you put compressor, anything bolt on is going to be new. You could get a rebuild for 9 grand, but that's just the cylinders heads.
Really quick, guys. If you guys are in the comments and you guys are being disrespectful to anybody in my comments, and I don't care who you are, and you guys are going to mess this show up, I'm going to remove your comment the first time, and the second time you're going to be timed out, and the third time you will be blocked. If you ever get blocked here, I'm telling you right now, I don't know how to unblock an individual, and I'm not going to spend time to learn how to unblock an individual. So, this is a trucking platform, and everybody needs to be respectful. So I just wanted to put that out there. So
I am monitoring the chat too.
I'm down for whatever.
I can't even see the chat.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. So no, I just want to make sure because there's a lot of different names on here, and there's a lot of wilding out in different locations and stuff. So I just want to make sure we're on the up and up, so when something happens, they're not shocked and stuff like that. So back what we're talking about, right? So the first thing is assuming, right, and that kills it in trucking. Right away we assume. The second thing is patience, right? So one thing I learned when I jumped in trucking is number one rule is have patience, right? You got to have patience. Trucks take off slow. Be patient to get up to speed. Be patient when you're at the shippers. Be patient on the freeway. Be patient in traffic.
Absolutely.
Everything's all about being patient, but the thing that drivers do is they're not patient. They're not patient.
Well, they didn't trip plan properly. They slept in a little bit too long, and now they're pushy, and it's mostly self-induced,
So I would tell everybody to work on your patience, and stop assuming. So if someone's talking about a lease truck or a cash truck or buying a truck, unless you know the specifics of it, you don't know if it's a good deal or bad deal. So yeah. I'm going to use Nevada because he put his stuff on the screen, right?
So
who's talking? Is that you, Callie?
No, sir. I hear it as well.
Is that on your side, James?
What's that?
Is someone talking on your side?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fucking Oster's jabbing his gums like a fucking woman.
Okay.
On the phone and talk to you, dumbass. And so blame this motherfucking ass.
Fucking people I hang out with.
You said right. You said right. It's like common sense, right? He's right behind you on the phone conversation while you're live. I mean,
Yep. That's
he's
my
a good
boy.
dude. But so let's use Nevada, right? So if Nevada told everybody, hey guys, I'm gonna lease. People hear lease and right away, oh, you shouldn't have did that, Nevada. You shouldn't have did that. But he put it on the glass, right? Nobody knows his situation. So
I'd say
the
he's got the
owner,
best situation out here possible. Really
so
does.
the owner, well, there's a lot of those situations out there. Just people don't speak on it, right?
Yeah,
So the
that's true.
owner of this big company paid, I'm gonna just give example numbers. Paid $100,000 for a truck, brand new, gave it to Nevada and said $100,000 divided into 5 years, that's your payment. Lease
No interest.
purchase.
Yep.
So are you telling me now that that's a bad lease? He's paying
Best
zero
lease you can get.
interest. The guy's
It's the
making
best
zero
lease you
amount of
can get.
money on the
Zero
thing
interest.
and everything
Adjust
else.
your payments however you see fit. Pay it off early. It's an ideal lease.
So the whole thing is, but when you hear lease, it's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. But you never heard this. You never heard this.
It's an individual decision, and some leases work for people. I know people that they follow their lease. A lot of the thing too is, let's say you don't have the credit, it's going to take you time to build the credit. You can do a lease, and if you're tight with your money and you're good with your money, you got to keep that. You have to keep that notion that in 5 years you're going to own this truck, because most leases are 5 years. So, but see, people jump into the game thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to buy this truck. Then money is a little tight, but they lose focus on the end of the 5 years. They're getting probably a truck that's worth 80 grand. Now, where in the world can you work at a job anywhere that in 5 years they're giving you an $80,000 bonus? Nowhere. But see, when you do leases, if you can fight through the lease and you can see to the end of this lease, you're getting an $80,000 piece of equipment that you get to, now you're getting to that next level. And sometimes it takes you 5 years. Sometimes you have to complete a lease because your credit just ain't there yet, or what have you. Or you feel that, hey, I'm already in this deep on the truck, I might as well just finish it. But don't lose focus of that 5 years, because at the end of that lease, you're getting an opportunity that you will get nowhere else. You'll get nowhere else.
So my whole thing, and I want to make this clear really quick. Shout out to Nevada Trucking Trails. He's a new member of the channel, man. Congratulations. Matter of fact, guys, the name on the screen, Nevada Trucking Trails, he has a YouTube channel. This is the gentleman I'm speaking of. I'm not going to speak of an individual if he's not in my comment section. I'm not going to do that because that means I'm speaking behind his back. He's right here, and I knew he's in the comments, and we're speaking on him. And I'm not putting his business out there. He spoke on it on his own damn channel, and I think he spoke on it on my channel. So it's already on the glass. I'm just going back and revisiting it, so because it's a learning experience for you guys. And again, I want you guys to understand something. I'm against 90% of the leases, and I've said that ever since I've been on YouTube. I'm against 90% of the leases. Well, what's the 10% that you're with? Okay, Nevada's deal. I'm with that. So here's another deal, right? You got a lease program of, oh, we just lost Kylie. Hang on. He'll come back. And if anybody wants to jump in, it's pinned on the top. So another situation, let's say these guys got a brand new truck, right? They got a brand new truck. And let's say your lease payment is, let's say $650 a week, your lease purchase payment, right? I don't like leases. I like lease purchase, okay? Because you get to own something if you stick to it. If you just lease something, you're just throwing money down the drain to me. And that's just an opinion. It's not facts. Some people just like it like that. But let's say it's a $650 a week situation on a brand new truck. If you add that up, that's $2,500 a month. If you went out and go buy your own truck yourself, your own truck on a brand new truck, your payment on a brand new truck will still be $2,500 a month. You know what I'm saying? With very little down. So those lease purchases compared to purchasing the truck, and those are the kind that I liked. Traveloco, that lease purchase. I've always been a fan of Traveloco thing. I met with the owner. I sat down. I saw all the structure. He emailed me all his numbers. I knew his business inside and out. And that's why I was okay with his lease purchase program. You know, So you know, there is some out there that I like. There's some that I don't like. What do you guys say, Stuart? Welcome to the channel.
Hey, what's up, man? I see you. I hope you see I signed up there as a member.
Yes, sir. Thank
No,
you.
so no, but as far as the you know, what's the better way to go? There's a couple of things to it. You know, I'm gonna talk cash truck first, right? If you're buying a cash truck, you know, there's a lot of guys that will get into that and they'll put their last dollar into that truck, and you don't know what's coming down the road. You don't really know generally what the history on that truck is, what big repairs have been done, what could be coming down the road, and you don't know how much downtime you're going to have. I mean, especially in, you know, the current markets where we've got big repair times. You know, it could be down for a couple of weeks, could be down for a month. And effectively, you've now lost income as well. Not only do you have this big burden of a truck payment, or truck repair bills, but you don't know, you're losing your income, your source of income as well. So for me, you know, in this market, maybe looking towards a newer truck, something which maybe might be a bit more reliable. Now, I'm not saying that they don't break down, but the odds are it's going to have a bit more reliability to it, and you want to capitalize on this market while you can. So, you know, in this market, maybe a lease, or if you have the money to just dump down on a brand new truck or something with really low miles, I personally think that's probably a better way to go in this market, just because of the uncertainty of what's happening with, you know, repairs and stuff like that. You know, but there is no right answer, like I said earlier. You know, one thing I will say, if you are getting into a lease, separate it from your lease contract with the carrier. Don't tie yourself to one company and you have to pull their freight only, because you are limiting your ability to produce income. You know, there might be freight out there paying double the amount and you're limited, you can't take it. So you want to have as many options as possible when you look at this. Is, you know, it's more than just the truck you want to look at. It's where you're going to get your freight from. What are you tied to as far as hauling freight? It's not necessarily just the truck itself, right? And that's my opinion on it. I think a lot of times there's a lot of people that get into a truck, a lease, say, and they want it more for the freedom side of it, and they're no different to a company driver with more responsibility. You know, and that's the wrong way to look at it. And they're now tied to a truck, which, you know, could be potentially an issue for them. They're now tied to that carrier and they have to haul that freight, which might not be paying the best. So there's, you know, there's a lot of factors that come to that you have to look at as part of being you know, a business owner. And that's part of being a business owner, is being able to recognize, okay, well, what's going to be more profitable for me, what's not going to be profitable for me, and that risk analysis. You know, if you're buying a cash truck that could potentially have more problems, what risk is associated with buying that truck? You know, is it more downtime? Is it going to be unexpected repair bills? Is it going to be that loss of income? So, and these are all the things you have to think about. It's not, well, now I'm not going to have a payment. You know, it's all the other associated risks that come with that.
Well, you may not have the payment, but once, let's just say if you bought a brand new truck and you finally pay this brand new truck off, you're still making those payments, because now those payments turn into maintenance, right?
Yes.
So the money still comes out of your pocket. I mean, but again, it's to each his own, because there are still owner operators that own their equipment that are still working at Schneider. That's a fact. They're still at Schneider doing it. And when you say freedom, the freedom is more of, I want to be able to book my own loads. I want to go to choose where I'm at. And there's a lot of benefits to Schneider. When the market goes to $1.50, everyone was bailing in. They were all going back to Schneider, you know. Mm-hmm. And then when the market pops up, then they come back out here. So it's, I can't say there's a doomsday of any lease. I think there's still people, even if it's dispatched like Prime, people are still buying their trucks at the end of their lease. So I think it comes down to the personality and whether or not they're driven enough to see it to the end. And it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Some people give up. They lose sight of that end of that 5 years. They're not making what they anticipate to make, and then they bail out. Or maybe they just don't have the commitment to themselves anymore. There's a lot of reasons why people fail, and I don't think it's just merely money. I think there's a lot to it.
I think it's
So like-
maybe the stress factor and the responsibility factor is you know, the money is one side of it, I think, but I also think the stress factor and, you know, the going into business is all them things we just listed that you have to look at as an owner, right? You know, we think it's, you know, a lot of guys come into this think it's a matter of just driving the truck and really not much is changing, but that's
They're
so far
title
from the truth.
chasers. They're
There's a
title
lot of-
chasers.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be
you're
owner
right.
operators. Just like when I was at Schneider doing the lease, and they give you 2 weeks where you didn't have the truck note. You know where half the people went when they got that truck?
Probably went
They
home.
went
is my
home.
guess.
They went
Yeah.
home so they could show their wives, they could show their family, they could show their friends that, hey, I'm an owner operator. I got a brand new Cascadia. And then 2 weeks later, they're out of business because they didn't make any goddamn money because they're sitting at home being the owner operator.
Yeah.
Those
Really
guys,
quick.
and they're out here. They just don't have.
Since
they don't
we've
have-
been talking on the off topic really quick for you guys, especially for you new members. Since we've been talking, I've been in my studios and I've made a bunch of videos and I've unlocked so far like 6 member videos already. So you guys are gonna be busy today and tomorrow watching videos, you know, that only members can see. But here's my whole thing, right? Everything is not for everybody. The only thing that could be for everybody is maybe paying cash for a truck. Now, again, when you say cash for a truck, what does that mean? I don't necessarily mean a $15,000 piece of crap. And you always hear people say, look, either you buy a truck or lease a truck, you're making payments there, or you pay cash for a truck and you're making the same thing, but you got to fix the truck up. Incorrect. I disagree. Totally disagree. Totally. I want to let you guys know that. On that, I totally disagree. I got my 389. It's a 2011. I don't really spend no money on it. You guys got to understand something. If you have a lease truck, when it hits 2 years old, you're going to have to put shocks on it. You're going to have to put belts and hoses. You know, depending on how bad you are on the brakes, you might have to do brakes. All this stuff you got. I got to mute old Kylie. That boy just stays.
I'm sorry, man. My bad.
I got you, bro. I got you, man. I got you.
I had to get.
So, I think he's quieted down now. I'm gonna unmute him, but that boy just stays making noise, and it doesn't bother me. But when you guys are watching it through your stereo speakers and stuff like that, on your truck, man, I know how it'll just blow you up.
Right.
Hang on one second. One of my customers hit me up. So back what I'm saying is like, even if you have a lease truck after 2 or 3 years, you have to do preventive maintenance. Sometimes some preventive maintenance you have to do. Is that Kylie again?
What? I ain't do nothing.
I tell you what.
What's the noise?
I don't know what you got.
No, it was me. I'm trying to put YouTube on so I can see the comments, and it's fucking going through these commercials and not turning down.
Oh, I apologize, Kylie. That wasn't you this time. God dang it, Stuart. I was quiet as hell when you guys were talking. God dang it. No, I was playing. But we're good. You guys can stay unmuted. So, making me lose my goddamn track. I'm saying. So anyway, so on a lease truck, there's a lot of preventive maintenance you guys need to do in 1 year, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a lease truck or you bought the truck or you got cash for a truck. You're spending the same amount of money on preventive maintenance. Okay. So when people say, hey, look, I'm spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month on my lease truck, or I'm paying $3,000 or $4,000 a month on buying my truck, that's the same if I pay cash for a truck. No, it's not. Absolutely not. Because the hell is he doing now? Hang on. I got him on here twice now.
I hit the wrong button.
So anyway, mute yourself real quick, Kylie. Unless you're ready to talk, then you can unmute. So if you get the calculator out and you do $3,000 a month times 12, right? That's $36,000 a year. James and Stuart, are you guys both telling me, especially you, James? James, are you telling me you're spending $36,000 a year on your truck? Extra than, hang on, let me finish this question. Extra more than a regular individual would do on preventive maintenance, including, because preventive maintenance is on all trucks. The truck, the shocks, the brakes, all that stuff doesn't know if you're buying the truck, leasing the truck, if you pay cash. The truck don't know none of that, right? So are you telling me, James, you're paying $36,000 extra more than anybody else is?
I'm paying $36,000 for maintenance on truck and trailer. Yeah,
We're not talking about trailer, talking truck.
not on the truck, no. But the trailer's part of the gig. Trailer's part of the gig.
But here's the
There's
thing.
a factor you're not taking into equation.
We're talking
there,
about
SoCal.
leasing, paying cash, and all that on a truck. The trailer thing's different. I mean, it's like not everybody has to own a trailer, right?
Well, then you're doing power only. Now you're leaving money on the table.
That's your opinion.
That's a fact.
It ain't a fact. It ain't a fact.
The money's the trailer.
There's people doing power only, right?
Most of them are doing Amazon. If they're doing power only, they're doing Amazon.
There's people doing power only with a company, right? That are making a payment on the trailer, but it's covered. Anything goes wrong, they don't have to pay nothing on it, and their payment's like $600 a month.
Okay, yeah, they're renting a trailer,
right?
Which the cost of renting a trailer, you could purchase a trailer,
right?
So,
but you don't have the maintenance.
Yes, but you'll have the maintenance.
So myself, on my 2011 389, I am not spending $36,000 a year on overly preventive maintenance, right?
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. So,
well, I spent $7,000 over $7,000 just in January.
On what?
On the truck.
On what?
Radiator. Had some wiring shit, I think. Yeah, brake steer on the steer axle. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
All right. So
the one factor.
On my brand new, hang on, sir. So on my brand new truck I had, they had to go in the shop because they had to pull the whole front of the engine off.
Yeah. I mean, January, we made less than a penny a mile. I made less than a penny a mile every mile in January. And last year, January, February, I was losing 4 cents a mile. So even as an owner operator, people think, oh, well, I'm just going to be banking all this money. There are going to be months where you make nothing. There's going to be months that you've spent more money than you made. And if you're not ready to have a profitless month, then you ain't it. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Because there are going to be times where you're spending a lot more money than you possibly can make. You're going to spend more money. And if you think that every day is going to be a $3,000 profit, or every week is going to be $3,000, $4,000 profit, you're mistaken. You will have profitless months. And if you ain't got it, you ain't it.
So pretty much you're speaking on your experience, right?
Personal experience. Yeah. Personal experience on 2015. You know?
It's like me and James. I went to James's truck when I was in Vegas, and him and I did a walk around on his truck. But we also have to understand something. So James has a truck with almost 1 million miles on it. Okay.
Yep.
And I tell people, when you get a truck around 650,000 miles, your maintenance will go up for a little bit. And the maintenance that he did,
everything.
In the maintenance he did, your maintenance will go up between 650 to 800,000 miles. Yep. It'll go up until you have to do the rebuild.
And it's always going to be worth putting that money into the truck than it is to buy another one. Always, in my opinion, it's always better to. There ain't nothing on these big trucks that isn't designed to be replaced or fixed. To say, oh, well, the maintenance is getting too high on this, I'm going to go trade it in. Then you're buying another, sack of shit. And you know what's going to happen to your truck? Somebody's going to put another 1 million miles on. You're walking away from the problem, but it's not solving the problem. It's not solving the problem. So I think once I own equipment, I'm never getting rid of it because I can just keep throwing money at it. It's going to be cheaper. It's cheaper for me to rebuild that engine than it is to replace the truck.
So eBiz says a lease when the equipment is inexpensive and likelihood of it breaking down is minimum, like a trailer is the only lease I would consider. So eBiz, I think you're talking about a leasing of a trailer because having new equipment, like with me, my new stuff's going in the shop more than my old stuff. I mean, I'm just keeping it a whole buck with you guys. I mean, I've had nothing but issues, and yeah, warranty covers it, but it don't cover the driver out there with the hotel bills. It don't cover a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that I can prevent, but I can't do it because it's under warranty. You know, I'd love to do a deletion on them, but I'd avoid my warranty. And so this video today is just showing pros and cons of leasing, buying, and paying cash trucks. And I'm hoping some of you guys will jump in here and give your experiences. But I'm putting this out here. So if you guys are thinking about leasing, paying cash, or buying a truck, you guys have something to stand on, you know? You guys have
They
something
have
to
to
look at.
understand what they're signing, SoCal. They have to understand what they're signing, that you're making a business decision, and you need to read that contract and understand exactly what you're paying for. Because all these leases, for the most part, they'll nickel and dime you, especially if you go in like to a Schneider or Prime or something like that. They're nickel and diming you on everything. And you need to know where that dollar is and what it's paying for. You just can't go off what the truck note is. It's all the accessorials you got to pay. But again, these guys, a lot of guys, are just going into this lease thing because they're title chasing. They want to be an owner operator, and they'll do whatever it takes to get there. But they'll do everything but the work. They'll do everything but the work. And then when they're not getting the paycheck or the raise that they think they're going to get by doing it, then they bail out and they go back home because they're
Hey,
not
look who
doing it
showed,
right.
hey, look who showed up, James.
Who showed up?
Look on the screen.
Yeah, block his ass.
Damn. Heartless. Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we break down the different types of leases? Because just to say leases, so broad, man. It's not really fair to the content. And
It's either a
but
lease purchase or it's a
but
lease. It's like a
but,
rental. So either you're
but this
renting the
is
truck or you're buying the truck.
it's three different
but
types of
back
leases.
chaser, Callie. This is what I said in the very beginning when I started speaking. In the very beginning, I said there's all different kind of leases and all different. Just like there's all kinds of purchasing, right? You get 5% interest rate, or you get 28% interest rate. You know what I mean? Just like you're paying cash for a truck, you're paying cash for a $15,000 truck with 1,000,000 miles, or you're paying cash for a brand new one with 0 miles. That's what I'm trying to say. There you know, there's, and I said this before. I guess you weren't paying attention. We can spend like weeks on just one aspect at a time. You know, there's so much of that, and that's why I went back when I said before, never assume, right? Never assume, because that's what we do, right? When we speak on lease, we're thinking of the worst case scenario lease. We're talking about paying cash. We're talking about the biggest piece of trash in the backyard we're paying cash for. You know what I mean? And
I would
somehow when we're
say
talking
that's
about
because it's the majority. Majority of the time when somebody's talking lease, we're talking Schneider, Prime, Swift. When you're talking cash truck, you're talking $15,000 to $20,000. That's majority of people. No one's talking about spending 200 grand and throwing cash down on a brand new truck. I would never do that. I would never do that. I'd rather finance it out and have that business credit and having that payment and having that 200,000 sitting in my account than to be blowing it on a truck. That's just me though. That's the way I would run my business. I wouldn't throw 200K on a truck. I wouldn't even throw 100K down on a truck. I'd finance it out.
So we have a new member. For the love of trucking, just subscribed. Hello, everyone. New member just tapping in. What do you think about a team with a full maintenance lease that you can take anywhere because a team puts so much wear and tear on a truck? So here's the whole thing, right? Here's the whole thing. I would have to look at everything before I can make an opinion on what you got going on. I haven't seen the numbers. I haven't seen the miles. I haven't seen nothing you got going on. And if I speak on you, I'm not doing you justice because I don't even know your numbers. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect you to put it on the comment section, you know. But I mean, and I spoke on teams before. So let's say I'm gonna give you an example, right? So you go find a $20,000 truck that you're comfortable with, not a piece of crap, but something that's pretty decent, right? And let's say you got the money and you put a brand new crate engine in it and a brand new crate transmission, right? So that truck's got the same kind of warranty as a brand spanking new truck. Okay. Now that truck is paid off, or maybe you finance only the engine, right? You as a team you guys will pay that engine off way before you burn that engine out. That engine will do 1,000,000 miles, right? That's a lot of driving for even for a team. So if you're paying cash for a crate engine that's brand spanking new, you can just run your damn ass off and get your money. To where if you're leasing a truck full maintenance, they're going to charge you most of the time. I can't say all because again I haven't seen your deal, but most of the time they're going to charge you for per mile. So every time you guys are running, they're charging you for all the maintenance and they're charging you for the wear and tear that you're creating on the truck. You're still paying for it.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're just tricking on the mileage.
But the reality of the statement of saying that the wear and tear that a team truck gets, there's less wear and tear on a team truck than there is a regional truck. Because you're going my truck was a team truck when I bought it. It had 634,000 miles on it for 15. I bought it in 2018, 2008. So it's a 3-year-old truck with 634,000 miles on it. That truck I've never put one penny in the after treatment. I put injectors in it. That's the most thing I've done to it, and then a radiator. But to say that a team truck is wear and tear on a truck, it's not. The majority of the time you're on the interstate for 8 hours of driving on cruise control. That's not wear and tear. That's the best you could do on a truck. That's the easiest life a truck has, is team trucking. Does it rack up the miles? Yes, but it's cruise control at 1,300 RPM the entire day. That's a lot less wear and tear than these guys that are regional that are bumping docks all day. The stopping, the turning left, turning right, the starting off from a stop sign all through town. Team trucks are the trucks you want to buy. They might have a lot of miles, but they're easy miles. They're easy miles. And they don't idle. That's why I've spent $0 on after treatment. I spent $1,700 on wiring harnesses. That's it. No filters, no knock sensors, no doser valves, nothing. Spent $0 on it. And now it's got almost 1,000,000 miles on it. I've spent $0 on that.
And I got a dude that's got a 2009 Peterbilt 386, 1.2 million miles, and all he's ever did on that thing is a clutch fan, air compressor, brakes, and oil changes, and maybe some tires. That's it.
Yeah, and that's just wear and tear items. Those shit.
So Lolo says, I just got my CDL permit. Am I better off buying cash for a truck? Cash truck.
You just got a CDL permit. You already looking to buy a truck?
I would say yes.
I'd figure out how to learn how to drive first, and then before you start buying shit.
Well,
that's like saying I'm going to go.
Okay, hang on, James.
But not know how to make fucking hamburgers.
Okay, James, you're assuming again.
I'm assuming.
You're assuming again. See, this is the problem we have with assuming. So let me give you a scenario. So Lolo just got a permit. Lolo buys a truck. Lolo is a very business-minded individual. Just Lolo don't know how to drive a truck. So Lolo puts a driver in that truck he just paid cash for.
Then why have a permit?
Because Lolo needs to go get a license. So if his truck gets abandoned, something happens, he has control of the truck.
Yeah. That's a steep observation.
eBay says, disagree. New trucks break down all day also. They all break down.
That's absolutely right. That's why they're under warranty.
Let me take it back. They don't all break down.
To break.
A breakdown to me is you got to call a tow truck. That's a breakdown. And for me, I'm going to speak on me. Okay, I can't speak on everybody else because people don't take care of trucks the way I do.
Speak on it.
My older trucks don't see the hook. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. James, I went and saw James's truck, and hopefully he does a video about it. If he don't, he don't. But he's taking his truck to a whole bunch of shops because they couldn't figure out why his truck keeps leaning, and then they want him to rig it to lift that right side up. I go look at James's truck.
Kenworth was clueless on that.
Right.
Clueless.
And that's because they're technicians. And this is what I try to explain to people, right? So I got trained to troubleshoot from the old hands, right? From my dad. They didn't have computers. They didn't have none of that. When you had to troubleshoot, you had to walk around that truck and say, okay, and troubleshoot it and fix it, right? And I was fortunate enough to get trained that way. You know what I mean? So you see how fast I found your coolant leak. You see how I narrowed down your air leaks, right? You see, I figured out why your truck was leaning. They're technicians, bro. They're technicians. You know, and that's the stuff that I'm talking about. And then I taught all you guys about what? The bushings and torque arms and all that, right? That's gonna save you on drive tires.
Exactly.
If you guys want to come in here, man, don't be scared. It's posted on the top and it's in the chat. If you guys want to jump in and say, "Hey, James, you're fucking full of shit, James." No, I'm just playing.
Probably am.
No, you're not, James. You got a lot to talk about, man. You got a lot of knowledge. Lolo says, "I just made February 7th cutoff permit." Oh, you're lucky as hell. You're lucky.
All that's gonna do is just force you to go to a mega carrier, because everything that they implement now, mega carrier was already certified in. So you just ain't gonna be able to hop in your daddy truck and ride up there and get a CDL no more. But anyways,
My driver Kenny said, and he scared me for a second because I thought he was talking about riding on my truck. But Kenny, my driver, says, had a tow truck pulled me out of the ditch in 2014, and they bent the frame on the truck. Was off 30 days. See, the tow truck bent the frame because the tow truck driver's a retard.
damn, a retard.
Ben says, I don't know if you guys can hear me over all Callie's stuff because he's got to clean his truck, maneuver. He's got to relocate. He's got to do all kinds of stuff.
He's got an awesome microphone, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's got a strong ass microphone, man. He can do a quiet fart and that thing will pick it up. You know what I mean? We probably even smell it. Ben's Radio says, from a business owner's perspective, credit is essential. A big purchase and borrowing are often necessary for growth. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree on that. I agree. Yep. But here's the whole thing too, Benz. When you're starting up brand new, you're not really on point on business and business credit and trucking and how to do's and don'ts and all that.
We should be. You are a business. You don't go and buy a McDonald's and then learn how to run a McDonald's.
Okay.
Right.
So let's flip the coin, James. My aspect needs to be people need to know how to walk around that truck and identify every problem they got on the truck.
Absolutely.
But I taught you guys some stuff when I walked around.
Well, I know what a bushing looks like. I know what a bad bushing and a good bushing is. I mean, I've been around cars. I've worked on cars majority of my teen years. So it's not like I'm completely clueless of fucking anything. I mean, I could recognize a coolant leak. I mean, I wasn't like I'm not trying to disrespect or anything, but I wasn't in awe with our findings. I haven't put eyes on that truck for 6 goddamn months or whatever. I mean, it is what it is on that aspect. But I think we need to be more business minded. The only way you get to learn your equipment is by looking at it and talking to mechanics and watching them do their fucking thing and then asking questions, but that's why we have mechanics. I'm not out here fucking fixing shit on my own. I just bring it to the shop. I ain't got time for it. I got no desire to be wrenching on a truck. None. But again, you don't buy a McDonald's and know nothing about McDonald's business. You can't buy a truck and then be completely clueless of what the hell you're doing.
I agree with what you're saying, James, but I do have to play at times devil's advocate. But I do agree. But the thing is, the two things I tell you guys about is assuming and patience. And drivers like to assume and they like to have no patience. So back on pros and cons. If you had to do it all over again, James, what would you change and what would stay the same? You leased a truck. I think you bought a truck. I don't know if you ever paid cash for a truck.
I wouldn't have changed anything. I did it. I could have done it a year earlier. But in all reality, I wouldn't change anything that I've done. Nothing. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm fucking perfect, but I can't think of anything I would have done different.
Some people don't know James. What did James do?
Well, I was a company driver. I did Walmart account. Why did I choose a Walmart account? Because they're backing 8 times a day in enclosed environments where it's tight quarters. So you get to learn the truck. You get to learn backing in a rapid pace. So you're not busting up your equipment, which I did bust a lot of equipment. But I have never busted anything on my truck. So after 2 years of being a company driver, grinding and backing up a shit ton of times, Then I made the business decision to say, okay, I want to own a truck. I want to be an owner operator. So I went through Schneider's Lease to find out if this was something that I wanted to do, if I wanted to be out 5 days at a time, so being home every day, whether it was going to fit the family, if the family was okay with me being gone 5-6 days a week, and then find out if there was money in it, if there was money to be made in it, and decide if I could, if I liked what I was doing, then I could go purchase a truck. I could have purchased the truck out of day one, but I didn't. I did the lease to find out whether or not this was going to be a good fit for me, because I can always give the lease truck back and walk away. So after 3 months of running that lease, I knew I could make the money. I knew that the lease payment was way too much money, and the family was good the way the lease was working, or doing the 5 days out and everything. The family was good with it, and then I went and I bought a truck 3 or 4 months later. So then I continued with Schneider for another month and a half, and then got on the spot market, and then bought a trailer, got my own. Then a year 2 years after that, I got my own authority and did everything. I don't think there's a single thing I would have done different. I don't think there's a single thing I would have done different. But I already came in with good credit. Schneider truck, running that Schneider lease, more or less was bankrupting me. Either there was two things that are going to happen. Either I had to buy a truck, or I'd have to stay out longer than 5 or 6 days. I'd have to be out 2 weeks at a time. I'm not that guy who's going to be out 2 weeks at a time. So I opted to buy a truck. I put the down payment on a credit card. I paid 17% interest on it. A year after that, I refinanced it for 5.25%. I mean, and bought a trailer and bought an APU, all on credit. And there's nothing I couldn't replace. If I bought that truck and it immediately blew up the transmission, the rear ends, and the engine right off the curb, I still had enough lines of credit. I could have rebuilt that thing from the ground up. So I've never been upset about breakdowns. Ever have I ever been concerned about a breakdown, that this one's going to be the one that bankrupts me? There ain't nothing that's going to get me out of the business. Nothing. Because there's nothing that can happen to that truck that I can't cover. Even if it happens all at the same time, there ain't nothing I can't do. So I don't give a shit about breakdowns. But there's other people out here that are running paycheck to paycheck. They got maybe $2 or $3 grand in their account. Because once you start seeing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in your business account, you start buying stupid shit. Now you start buying the brand new trucks, the brand new cars, and you're doing all this crazy stuff because you ain't never seen 50 grand before. You ain't never seen 50 grand before. And then we get numb with money. You get numb with money because 50 grand's nothing. It's chump change. Spending $3,000 on a repair is nothing because it means nothing. But it's like when you're 16 years old and you have to replace an alternator on your car, you feel like you're going bankrupt because it's a quarter of your paycheck, right? You get paid $400 a week, and now you're spending $100 on an alternator. But now, anytime, as being business owners and owner operators, if something goes out on the car, that's chump change compared to what we're spending on these trucks. Chump change. So it's to each his own, to each his own. But a lot of us are not set up for success. A lot of us out the gate are set up for failure because we don't know we ain't got our shit together. We just think that with all this goddamn money that everyone's putting on the glass is going to be everyone's situation and that it's always going to be there. And the reality is that it's not going to always be there. I mean, how many owner operators got in the business just this year, last year, with a $5 market? A lot of people did. How many are going to be around when it drops? Not a lot, not many, not many.
And that happens every time. We see that
every time it goes up. 2018. 2018 was a $3 market. And then everyone got into it. I got in it myself. 2019, a lot of them fell off. Because the rates got down where, you may be lucky to get $1.50 a mile. But see, when people's cost is already at $1.75, you can't run $1.50 mile freight because your cost per mile is too high. And the reality is they don't know their cost per mile. They want to throw up a number to make it sound good, but based on how many miles? 5,000 miles a week? I mean, I can make my cost per mile look like 29 cents, but is it a reality? Are those miles realistic? You got to go on bare minimum miles. I did miles at 1,500 miles a week, and I do my cost per mile off of 1,500 miles, not 3,000, not 3,500. I need realistic money. Worst case scenario cost per mile. And these guys ain't doing it. They're bragging, saying, oh, well, it's like a guy who makes 60 cents a mile and a guy who makes 48 cents a mile. We assume the guy making 60 cents a mile is making more money than the guy at 48 cents a mile. We assume this because that's all we're talking about. But what about the insurance, the vacation, the pay raises, the 401k match? All of that is part of your wages. But all we see is the 60 cent a mile. He's making more money because we don't know shit. We don't know shit. So we'd say, oh, well, what's your cost per mile? Oh, $1. Is it? We don't know. We don't know if it's
I'm gonna shout out one of my members, and he's in the chat. Mad Trucker 830. What's going on, man? What's going on, man? And Nevada says, because I got to read what Nevada says. He's a member now. All my member stuff I have to read. That's the rules. Nevada says, ask James about his maintenance fund.
I don't have a maintenance fund. I don't have a maintenance fund. And that's another thing that we do. See, I know too many owner-operators that say, oh, I put 10 cents a mile in my maintenance fund. You're a fool. You're a goddamn fool. All your money is maintenance fund. All of it. You don't have a separate account. You're not on a goddamn lease where they take off 10 cents a mile or whatever, $50 a week out of your, and then put it in a maintenance account. You don't have maintenance accounts.
I think that's another con on these stuff because they program you guys. You guys have to have a maintenance fund and this fund and a tire fund and get out of jail fund and this fund. And to me, that's hilarious as hell, man. You know, I've never been taught that my whole entire life.
Yeah, that's a kick in the spuds. Pretty much when I hear that mega carrier, whoever it is saying, you're responsible enough to take responsibility of this truck, but we don't trust you to maintain it. So you're not even responsible to be a business owner and take care. So it's a prid pro quo. It doesn't make sense. They're saying we trust you on one hand, but we don't trust you on the other hand. So for me,
and it gives you
that's a red flag.
Security.
Yeah, that's a red flag that they even do that because why would they put you in the truck if they don't trust you to maintain it?
Yeah, it's a false sense of security. Well, I've got a maintenance fund, so I'm covered. All the other money I can keep and spend it, and that's not true.
If you guys truly believe they trust you, they done fooled you already. They don't trust nothing. That's
they
why
want
it's
their
a weekly.
Paid. If a mega carrier could get every truck to be a lease operator in it, they would. They'd get rid of their employees. If they could, they would, because it's in their benefit to have these lease trucks. One, they're making shit tons of money on it. They don't have to match your taxes or your Social Security. They don't have to offer vacation. They don't have to give you medical insurance. They don't have to pay in for 401k. They don't have to do anything. If they could get every truck they own to be a lease op, they would. The reality is they can't.
And
but
not
they
just that, you blow out a tire, you fix it. Oil changes, you fix it. You know, anything happens, you pay for it. And they still make the money.
Yep.
So
they're
Chris is one of my members.
30-40% off you.
Yeah, Chris is one of my members.
Exactly
and
right.
again,
they give you 65% of the load. They keep the other 35. And they're not paying for the equipment.
And again, I always have to read off my members' comments. I always have to stop, and I always got to do that because that's part of the membership. Chris, one of my members, says, I don't like all those extra funds. I think it's a scam. Yeah, it doesn't teach you guys nothing, man. It doesn't teach you guys nothing. Now, Miss Richardson, I appreciate you showing up. She says maintenance fund equals maintenance account. Are they different? Let me tell you guys something. Listen, let me tell you guys something. If you guys have an S corporation, right, you always got to track where your money goes. If you're pulling money out of this account to go make a whole new account for maintenance, you're creating too much paper trails for you guys to keep up with, trying to keep up with your damn S corporation. You know, so I don't believe in all that stuff. You have a business account, and when you go get loans or do a lot of things or do taxes or whatever, they want to see everything itemized. They want to see everything right there in that account. They want to see where everything's going. They want to see December you bought tires. They want to see November you got an oil change. They want to see all that right there. They don't want to say, oh, excuse me. Okay, do you got your business account? It's right here. Okay, and do you have your tire fund account? It's right here. Okay, do you got your maintenance account? Oh, it's right here. Okay, do you got your truck payment account? Oh, it's right here. Okay, do you got your personal account? Oh, come on, guys.
The only thing I would suggest is a separate savings account for taxes. That's the only thing I would suggest. And being me,
I
I'm just an
I wouldn't
LLC
even do
sole
that
proprietor.
because you
You
I
should
gotta
be
explain
pay
paying
everything.
taxes
taxes.
quarterly. You should be paying taxes.
I don't pay
quarterly.
taxes quarterly. I'm not
No,
giving the government any tax.
incorrect. I don't do quarterlies.
I don't do quarterlies either.
What's
I
the
don't. I'm
penalty
not
for that?
$100
There ain't no
or
pin.
it's chump change.
There ain't nothing.
Chump
Oh,
You
change.
I didn't know
gotta
that.
you gotta look at this, bro. So Kylie says go quarterly, right?
No.
The reason why I say don't because I believe in make the most with your money, right? You go pay quarterlies, you're only guessing. You don't owe nothing in taxes. You're only doing projections and guessing, and now you're giving them money. They're going to take your money and they're going to make more money with your money, right? By the end of the year. Wouldn't you rather keep your money, take that money, and make more money with your money?
Yep.
No, I
Why
agree.
let
I
them
didn't
make
know.
more
I
money
thought
with
the
your money?
penalty was a
I
couple
put it away in a savings account. So at the end of the year, when I do my taxes, and if I have the write-offs or whatnot where I don't owe, then it's an instant tax return. I just transfer that money from the savings account, put it in my business account, and I start over. That's how I do it. Because you're going to be amazed how many people this year are in shock and awe of how much they're actually going to owe this year. And I got money says there's going to be over half of them are going to do the 7-year payout. They're going to pay payments for the next 7 years because they're not ready to pay taxes because they think, oh, there's so many write-offs, I'm not going to owe nothing. But the reality is profit, and profit for a self-employed person is 35%. Generally, it's going to be 35%, depending on what state you live in. Now, tell me you've got 35% of your gross or your net that you've actually got stashed somewhere. Odds are you don't.
So Ms. Richardson says everybody's different. Let me tell you something, Ms. Richardson.
Everyone is different. Yes.
Personally, people are different. Personally. And there's so many people that don't know how to run a business properly. So when you say that, absolutely, it's different. But you know what? You got to run a business like a business, right? And I guarantee you, McDonald's, Burger Kings, and all these different things, they don't have 55 different accounts for hamburger buns, cheese, pickles. They don't have there ain't no such thing. You have a business account and you have a personal account. And that business account is under a corporation seal. You understand that, right, Ms. Richardson? A corporation seal, right? So when you're moving money around, pay attention to what's going on. It better be accounted for. So if you take money out of that corporation to go put it into a maintenance account, that's a situation you're going to have to deal with.
Your business account is your maintenance account. All of it. All of it.
What do you think a business account means? What's a business account mean exactly? It don't mean, my business account just means when I make money, it goes in there. No, a business account means the money is in there for your whole entire business, is what that means. A business account means it's there for your whole entire business. You can get on your business account, do a whole entire summary, and look at it and see what's going on. Here comes Miss Richardson now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it morning?
In some
It is
places, I
morning.
guess.
Okay. I deal with the same bank. I don't have to go to different banks. And I say to each his own, everybody have their own lane, they do their own business. I encourage people to actually put money away in case you break down. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure, there is. There's a lot
How's
wrong with
nothing wrong
that.
with it?
It's
Because your
encouraging,
business account's
encouraging bad
supposed to.
behavior. It's
Yeah,
encouraging
you're
bad because
encouraging bad habits.
if you
First of all,
can't
you're
be
teaching bad
disciplined not to
habits.
spend your money, if you can't be disciplined not to spend that money that sits in that account, that's a bad trait to have in business. If you can't sit there and look at an account with $100,000 in it and acknowledge, okay, 50,000 of that is for potential breakdowns, there's an issue there. As a business person, you should be able to do that and not go and buy a brand new car with that $50,000 just because it's sat there. So to just take it out and move it to another account I don't see why we would do that. I can't comprehend that, me personally.
Okay.
It's lease mentality.
And I
That's
don't
how
and
the
I don't
lease operators do it. So that's
Okay.
how
So
it
so
carries
let
and I
me
on.
get
don't
this straight.
hang on, Mr. Richardson. Hang on, you asked a
Okay.
question. I gotta answer. Let me
Okay.
give my take real quick. I don't believe in if you got money over here, take it out, put it in the same bank, but a different account. Don't look at it. That way, if you don't see it, you don't spend. as a business person, I don't think like that, right? I don't think like that. So it all needs to be right here so you know what's going on at all times. You know what I mean? I don't believe then you got to take something out for maintenance because it's in the business account for maintenance. It's in the business account for truck payments. It's in the business account for every single thing. You got to learn to control and not spend your money. So let me ask you this question. So you take out, how do you know how much money you're going to spend on maintenance? How do you know?
I don't. I have $20,000 sitting up in case my truck, I had to get a brand new motor.
So why
And
would you
then I
put it
add,
there, why would you put it there, not in your regular business account? What's the difference?
because the difference is because in my business account to pay, if I have to pay, which I don't have to pay, because, it pretty much,
Stop. You just confuse. Hold up. You're going to confuse the hell out of me.
okay,
In that one, if I have to pay, which I don't have to pay. So we got to talk straight because all the
okay,
circles, it's going to confuse me.
no
Continue on.
problem. All right. I would say with me, I don't have like a business account. I have like a personal account. Does that make sense? So it probably will help out. The reason why I asked, what's the difference between a maintenance accounts and a maintenance fund? So I guess y'all saying the same thing. I guess I'm not sure if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, hang on. So you got me confused again. So we're
Okay.
talking about an S corporation with a business account, and now you brought
Okay.
up you have a personal account. So you're trying to say that we're wrong, but you're speaking on a personal account.
I'm not saying
So
you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
okay,
Let's make sure we get that right. I'm
all
not
right,
saying you're wrong. I'm just pretty much putting my experience in. I'm not saying nobody's wrong. Everybody do
okay.
their own thing.
So
Okay. Let's make sure we correct that.
got you? So why are you mentioning a personal account? Because we're not talking about a personal account. Why did you bring up a personal account? That's the part you had me lost.
No problem. Because I do things differently and I don't want to confuse anybody. I can call it a business account that I have instead of a personal account. I would say,
Okay,
you know
stop.
what? I have a
Hang on,
business
hang on,
account.
hang on right there. So
Okay.
that's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong. So, and I'm doing this to help you. Okay. So when you open up a business account, you got to go to the bank. You got to show them all your paperwork to your S corporation. Okay.
That's
So
right.
that's strictly a business account.
Okay.
It's 1, 2, 3, whatever your business account is. That's what it is. That's all that's on it. It's not even a personal account. It's strictly business. So you can't say I got this personal account, but I can use it as a business account. It's not the same thing.
Okay. So let me correct it for the ones that want me to speak correctly. It's a business account, not a personal account. Can I correct that?
I'm confused. Go
How
ahead,
are you
James.
Do you
confused? Because
buy
I'm saying
Hold on.
it's a
groceries?
I'll be
business
right back.
account.
Do you pay
It's a business.
groceries or
Okay,
your
let
Do
me
bills
you
explain
have
you.
a
out
business
of that
account?
account?
Let me explain you what my business account does. It pays for the part on my truck. It pays for the tires on my truck. Is that a business account?
That's a. Is it a bit? Is it a business account? I mean, is it, or is it a personal
Is it
account that you're using as a business account? So do you have two
No,
Well,
separate
it's
accounts?
you
Do you
can't
have
do
it's a
that. You can't do that,
you have
James.
two
Best.
personal accounts that you're using, one for business and one for personal? So your personal business account is actually paying you a salary, or are you using your personal business account to pay your mortgage?
no. I'm not using my business account to pay my mortgage.
Okay.
That's another
So then you've
account.
got it. Then it's separate. Your personal and your business are in two separate accounts.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
don't confuse the people watching us. So
I don't think I'm
a
confusing them. I
business
think you're trying to make it confused, but I do apologize if I am confusing someone.
I think we
a
got it.
business
I mean,
account,
I get it.
a business account, I don't give a shit what you're using it for. When you go to a bank and sit down, you're opening up a business account with all your stuff of your S corporation. Okay.
Or
When you sit down
LLC,
to open up a
whatever.
personal one, all you need is a goddamn social security number and a driver's license number and your name, and that's it. And it's under, SoCal, whatever. So that's the difference in a business and a personal. Not what you're using accounts for, but when you open it all up, you open it as a business account.
with an EIN number
Well, you have to have an EIN number to open a business
and your,
account. You cannot use
and your
cannot
Secretary
use an
of State's
EIN. You
paperwork.
cannot use an EIN number to open a personal account. I just googled it and it said it right here. But the Inland Revenue
Well, I know
Service does
that.
not allow
Right.
a personal account to be used, an EIN to be used on
Right.
a personal account.
You
It
gotta
says
have your
that
social
clear as
security
day.
number.
Yeah, it has to be Social Security, and that's where the confusion is, I think, because we know that there is a difference between the two. And when you said personal, it's like, well, how are you got a personal with an EIN? They're different things, and now I think that's where the confusion comes from me.
I
So,
don't know how
Maine, did you
because
open
I
up
didn't
a
even
business
speak on an
account with an
EIN number.
EIN number?
Sure you did, because a business account is the EIN number.
Okay, I understand that, but what I was, let me
Help us,
say
Miss
this.
Richardson. Be patient with us. I'm trying to.
I'm trying. I'm
Here's
older.
the whole thing, Miss Richardson. Here's the thing, Miss Richardson. Right? You know everything
Mercy.
is it's in your head, right? And sometimes what's in your head, it's hard to put it in words so people can understand it. You see what I'm saying? You
Okay,
know because it's in
so
your head. We're
yes,
clueless.
no problem.
So
No problem.
let's start this all over. We didn't
All
hear
right,
nothing.
let's do that.
Let's do
Let's
this.
do that.
Let's do
All
this.
right.
Did,
So
did,
let me explain. Let me explain. And the difference is, I want to make sure if I will ask you, does that make sense? I will always ask you, does that make sense? Okay. I have two accounts: a personal account without the EIN number, maintenance account with the EIN number. Does that make sense?
so
Yeah.
she have a business account with an EIN number that she use.
Business account, maintenance account, yes, with the EIN number. Does that make
And a
sense?
personal account.
that makes
Does that
sense.
make sense? Y'all with me
You
so
got two
far?
accounts. You have a personal account and a business account. Continue on.
All right. A maintenance account that I have, which I think that's how I jumped in. The maintenance account is for my truck.
Okay.
I don't have
Now
a truck note. I do not
hang
have a
on.
truck note.
Hang
Okay, go
on.
ahead.
Because I have to ask questions so we can stay on board
Go
here.
ahead. Go ahead.
So we have a personal account and we have an EIN business account.
Uh-huh.
Where does your maintenance money come out of?
My maintenance money come out of my personal account.
Okay, so that's wrong. I'm trying to help you out. I'm telling you that's wrong.
Okay, so why is that wrong? We can start there.
Because it's just plain and simple. It's a personal account, not a business account. Just plain and simple at that.
When you go and you apply for loans or you try to show any credibility to your business
And
and you show
and
them your
But
here,
it's beyond
business
that. But it's
account,
beyond that, back chaser. I
no
don't. It
problem.
doesn't matter.
I
It don't
can
matter if you
answer
do
that.
that.
I can answer
It
that.
don't matter. But it don't matter if you want to do that or you don't want to do that.
But I can answer that.
A personal account is for your personal stuff. Like you want to go eat, you want to go to the movies, you want to whatever, you want to go buy furniture for your house. That's your personal account.
you're right,
So
but everybody might not understand that.
so the whole thing is your business account is for business, and a personal account is for your personal life. It don't get more descriptive than that. A personal account is for your personal life. Your business has everything to do with that trucking company.
So, from my understanding, all your income and all your expenses, whether it be tires, weigh stations, you get the point. All that needs to run through your business account. And you also need to set up direct deposit, 1,000 a week or whatever, and that needs to pay your personal account. And that's what you use to pay rent, buy groceries, go to the movies, go to LA, take a trip, rent a car, whatever. Anything business related, hotels, flights, X, Y, and Z, all that needs to run through your business account. So you can just print off your statements and say, everything on here shows what comes in and what went out, whether it's a deduction or whatever the case may be. Whether it came in as what do you call it, a check from your factoring company or whatever the case may be. All that needs to run through your business
I want to clear something up real
you,
quick because hang on one second, Kylie. I want to explain something real quick because everybody wants to get in here and say this, say this in the comments. I was so descriptive when I said S corporation. How many people in the panel heard me? Matter of fact, in the comments, if you guys heard me say S corporation, put a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure we're clear about this. Put a 1 in the chat, please. If you didn't hear me say S corporation, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to understand, because when I'm talking about the color blue and we're talking about all the reasons of blue, and then I got people in there say, red, if you put yellow with it, you can make pink. If you do red, we're talking about blue. We're talking about S corporations is what we're talking about. See,
S corporation.
this is why I don't like LLC, because with LLC, you can commingle some stuff, and it all gets screwed up. And then when you go for a damn audit, you're just all screwed up, and then you're complaining.
Even with an
And
LLC, you're still not doing that with an LLC.
And you know what you can do,
have business
SoCal?
accounts, you still keep a separation. Otherwise, the LLC does you no good. If you don't have that full line of the difference between business and personal, then the LLC gives you no protection. Because if you're doing stupid shit with your business money, then everything turns personal. And now when you get sued, they're looking at the whole thing and not just the LLC. You get no protection if you don't have that separation. So it's not just S-corp that you have that separation. You separate an LLC as well. You have to have that separation. Otherwise, there is no limited liability company. So you have to separate. So it's not just S-corp. Not just S. You have to treat an LLC as a business as well, because it is. Now, sole proprietor, yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want. Do whatever you want. But you're taxed as a sole proprietor. But the LLC is a limited liability company. And in order to have that limited liability, in case you get into an accident or things of that nature where they don't come after your personal assets, you have to have that clean, defined line between personal and business. So an LLC is the same as an S-corp when you're handling money.
So
Money
if
should
you
be
guys run
handled
so if
the
you guys
same.
run around as as a sole prop, yeah, do what the hell you want to do. Just sling your business
Right,
around
but as
in the
soon
mud
as you
however the
turn
fuck
into
you
a
want.
limited liability company, you have to have that clear definition of what is and what ain't business related. Regardless if you got to give yourself a W-2 or whatever, you're just giving yourself $1,000 a week. You have to have a clean paper trail that you pay yourself $1,000 a week into your personal account, or pay yourself $1,000 a day. It doesn't matter.
So
But you can't pay for personal shit with business, because as soon as you do that once, that corporate veil is pierced, and they will take everything from you if you have an accident. You have no liability. You don't have that protection of an LLC anymore.
So you need to know the difference, what's between personal and what is
And
business.
correct. You cannot use a business credit card and go buy yourself furniture for the house. You can't buy. You can't pay for personal stuff with a business credit card. You have to keep it business. So there has to be that separation.
Right. And
And
here's
if
the
you
thing with
don't have
me,
that
and
separation, then that LLC is no protection to you at all, because the corporate veil has been pierced.
And Miss Richardson, and here's the problem. It's nothing against you, right? Everybody's here to learn and stuff like that. And it's nothing. I
right.
appreciate you jumping on here. You know, but just because certain people speak on what I speak on, it doesn't mean it's right. You know what I mean? And I speak on business, right? I speak on business. I'm trying to teach people how to develop their business. That's what I'm on here for, is to help them develop a business. And I'm not going to teach them how to make bad habits, right? And just because someone does it a certain way and they haven't got caught, don't mean that's the right way to do it. And when someone gets audited and they want to see your business records, and now you're in their personal bank account trying to show you about tires, it's going to be kind of hard to explain that one.
Yeah. And I get that. Like I said, I'm not against what y'all saying. I'm not against anything or what anybody's saying. I just pretty much, I can only speak on my experience. I mean, everybody's situation is going to matter. It's just like, we just got to get it out there, because that's my most important thing. Get it out there to the people that don't know what to do, don't know the difference of how you get into it. Everybody on this panel, we ain't going to agree all the time.
Absolutely
And
not.
people might see what you do, might be like, well, no, I won't do that. And guess what? That's okay. It is okay. May not work. What works for me?
It is okay, but you have to realize that what you're doing isn't for the best interest of the company or yourself. But you are free to do it however you want to do it. It just may not be the best for your situation.
And
like
James,
my situation, I'd be better off with an
James, you
S-corp
got to
than an
remember.
LLC.
And James, you got to remember, that's your opinion, because over here in Richardson land, the thing we've been doing
works.
We've been making the bank, baby.
Yeah. But when there's an accident, and that corporate veil is pierced, and they're going to come after your personal assets as well as your business assets.
Yeah.
Then you'll change your mind. You'll change the way you do things. But there's no You just have to realize that you're
We
putting
don't know
yourself
what all she
open for
doing. All
personal
she
assets to
said
be
was she
taken.
using a business account for
And that's
kids.
the thing. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. See, a lot of people, I don't know what all you guys are doing. I'm hearing your
I'm
experience of what you've
not
done and what you've been
not
through. So I
experienced.
can
I'm running a
take that.
business. I'm
Okay,
running a
no
business.
problem. How you want to pronounce it? Okay, I don't
Multiple.
disagree with what you're saying.
Right.
Okay, I don't
And here's the
disagree.
thing. And here's the thing, Miss Richardson. Right.
Yeah.
So the rules are the rules. It's no more opinionated. It's the rules. Right. An S corporation, LLC, all those have rules. Right. Business accounts have rules.
Uh-huh.
Personal accounts have rules. It's not my opinion. It's not anybody else's opinion. It's business 101, right? And some people, they bought the truck and right away they're in business, which is great, but they never learned how to properly run a business. So I have 2 trucking companies, right? You see the one in the back is Next Level Direct, right? I have 2 trucking companies. I cannot swipe my card for Next Level Direct from my other company because now I'm crossing my my seal, right? So, and I can't interchange them with my personal, right? So if one of my drivers kills somebody and I'm just swiping and going and money's going all over the place like popcorn, guess what's ass is getting handed to them? Guess who loses everything? This
Your
guy right
personal,
here.
your personal assets will be taken.
Everything.
Yes.
Right.
Why do you think there is a corporation? Why is there an let me ask you this. Why is there an LLC? Why is there an S-corp? Why is that there? If
So
people
when
are
you
going to
get
switch
sued,
along their money in their personal accounts and just do as they wish, why have the corporation?
when you get sued, protection.
No.
Well,
How they
what's
gonna
it there
protect
for?
you if you don't have the access to pay the lawsuit? How the hell the LLC gonna protect you?
Because when you
Because
have
their
an accident,
assets
you
are
have an
in your
LLC,
LLC name.
all they
Okay.
can go after is what the LLC possesses. That's all they can go after is what the LLC owns. But if you screw up your money and you contaminate business with personal, now your personal assets are now included in this lawsuit. If it's a strong ironclad LLC and you don't interchange this money and you treat it like a business, when you get sued, all they can sue is the business. They can't sue you as an individual. But if you play with your money left and right and nothing is defined, they'll pierce that that LLC veil protection,
Okay.
and now all of your personal assets are now included in it. So your house
Right.
is in it, your personal vehicles, your savings accounts, all of it is up for grabs. That's why we
Okay.
have LLCs. It's a limited liability, meaning that we're separating ourselves personally to the business. So if the business gets a lawsuit, they can only go after the business, not our
Okay.
personal shit.
And
But if we
that's what
don't
the
treat it that way,
whole
we don't have that separation, then all of our assets, including
Right.
business and personal, is now involved in this lawsuit.
Okay.
Including all that
okay.
money in your personal account.
So
Exactly. All the money in your
You
personal,
so
your
swapping back and
house, your
forth.
cars, they go
so
after
let's look
And
at
they
everything.
taking your
let's
maintenance
look at it
fund.
like this, Mr. Richardson. Let's say you're like, I don't give a shit. I ain't got no money for them to take. So let's just say that, okay?
Okay.
They can sue the LLC completely out of business, but Miss Richardson's okay. Her credit's okay.
Correct.
Her as a person is okay.
Correct.
You can start up another LLC. You can live life. You and your husband can just have a good time and go off in the sunset.
Correct.
You contaminate your person with your business. They sue all of it. Now they get
All
to
of
go
it.
after you personally, and they get to put a lien against your bank accounts from now on. So anytime
Yep.
you go get a job as a driver because you got sued and you lost all your shit, now they're going to levy your money when you get paid. Now they want 20% of your money because you owe $1 million because Joe
Yes.
Blow got hit by whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Hmm.
and this is why you keep hearing all these things that that they lost everything, and I don't want to be an owner operator because they can you can get sued. Is because people are not moving in the right way, in the right direction.
Correct.
Just because people are doing it, don't mean it's right. So it
It'll
ain't my
catch up.
opinion. It's not my opinion. I'm speaking on. Fuck my opinion. People ain't got to like me.
Okay.
People ain't got to give a shit about my opinion. But the facts are the facts. People get corporations so they can separate themselves. So if something ever happens,
As well as
them
an
as a
LLC.
person is
Hmm.
protected.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So quick question, SoCal or all of y'all, or so if you buy a truck, Do you want to buy it in your business name or your personal name? Because if they
There's
sue you and they wipe out your LLC, they're taking their
Okay.
it.
truck if
So
it's in your
It
so
could
LLC.
your
It's
so let me
loan
registered.
could
explain.
be
Hang
based
on.
on your EIN number. It
Hang
can
on.
also
Hang
could
on,
be
James.
based on
Hang
your
on.
Social Security. So
Hang,
that means you
And I
can't
know
file
that, but
business
what's recommended?
bankruptcy. They're
hang
still
on.
going to go after your personal
There's
to get
two
that
ways
money.
to do this. There's two ways to do this, right? You can buy it as a person if you want to, and lease it to your company.
Yes.
See, so you can buy it as a person, lease it to your company, and when the company gets sued, the company don't own the truck. You as a person
Right.
own the truck, and you didn't do nothing wrong. You understand?
So do
Kylie?
you recommend that? Because that's the ultimate level of protection
I recommend you
versus
guys do
putting it all
whatever
in
you
your
guys want, but
LLC name.
that's why a lot of companies have holding companies, Miss Richardson and Kylie. That's why they have
Mhm.
holding companies, because they put everything in a holding company, and that holding company is to do nothing but to buy equipment, and that is it. That's what all comes in and out. Lease payments
Now
or
we're
purchase
talking.
payments or whatever,
Mhm.
it goes into a holding company, and only money comes out is when they're purchasing equipment, and that's it. They don't write checks against it, nothing. It's a holding company, and it's very well protected. So when they got trucks out there and they're just going down the Colorado freeway and running and killing everybody, they don't lose the truck because the holding company holds title of that truck.
Is a hold okay? Never mind. Okay, so my question is: a holding company LLC as well? You can open up an LLC just as a holding company, or that's a
I'm
different
gonna tell you
structure I need to
something,
look
guys.
into.
I don't speak on LLC because I don't agree with an LLC. I don't like limited nothing when it comes to this. I'm an S corporation kind of guy, and I run S corporations and everything I do. If you guys want to do LLC, do LLC. I don't. If you're going to ask me on my opinion, so you ask my opinion, I do S corps. I can just speak on what I do. I do S corps is what I do.
And that's where I'm at. You can only speak on your experience. No offense to no one. Like I said, I can take it or I can not take it. It's that's I just get information of what people give to me, and then I go and I do the research. It's nothing wrong if I don't agree to what you're saying. I can come back and say, hey, I did my research. What's such have my questions, and we can sit down and then we can talk about it. And I do
So
want to make a statement on to Mr. Melvin. I'm not clueless. I've been driving since 2008. Been an owner operator for about a year. I bought my truck cash. I have a couple of accounts that I have that I'm dealing with that I put money in, and money is already there. When I came into the trucking industry, I didn't come in this industry broke. That's one thing for sure, because I did my research, got some information, got a mentor to help me out through it.
So let's talk about that real quick. You didn't come in here
Sure.
broke. So wouldn't you want to protect your assets?
Yeah.
So how are you doing that?
So no, hang on, Kylie. I don't care how she's doing this. You don't have to answer any more stuff. So the whole goal, Miss Richardson, is to protect your assets.
Yes, sir.
And this is not my opinion. This is facts. If you're using your personal account, mingling with your corporation, it's all opened up now. Your whole ass is out there, and you're not protected.
Okay. So do you think I use my personal account for my business?
You
Is
said for
that
your maintenance. You said you use your personal account for your maintenance. What you told us a minute ago.
She
did I
said she
say
used
that?
her business account for
Yeah.
maintenance, but that's all
I
she
use my
uses her
business
personal account
account for
for. Or that's what it
maintenance.
sounded like.
Yeah, I use my
You
business
use your
account for
personal
maintenance.
account for everything else.
I use my personal accounts for everything else, like buying me some clothes and some tennis shoes and some fine dresses. I use my personal account for
Okay.
that. I don't use my personal account for,
So
Okay.
where's all the rest of the
buying
money? So you
fuel
got your
Then I
for the
personal
truck.
money, and then you
then
have
I
your business
apologize.
account
I
for
could have
maintenance.
swore I
But
heard you say your maintenance
where's
came
all
out of
the
your
other
personal
money
account.
at?
Where's all the what?
Where's all the other money at?
Okay, so I have caps. Can I say that?
Caps.
Caps. And I have a $5,000 maintenance. No, let me take that back. Not $5,000 maintenance. I have a $25,000 maintenance. Case of the truck breakdown, Got to get a brand new motor in. That's over there
Over
Okay.
where?
in the account.
What account?
Checking account, a maintenance account.
A business
Business
account
or
or personal
personal?
account?
A business account.
It's not a personal account because I don't touch it.
Okay.
But is it classified as a business? Not you classifying it, but is the bank classifying it as a business account?
No, they do not classify that as a business because that just sit there. Nothing get touched over there. Just cases my truck motor goes down and whatnot. So I would say pretty much I have 2 damn business accounts.
No,
Y'all
it's
But
only a
they're
teaching me a
but
business
they're
lesson
account.
out there.
but
It's
they're
only a
still
business
personal.
account if it's opened up as a business account. You can't just open up 5 different personal accounts and say
No, it's not a personal account. It's a business account.
Is
It
it
goes
under
with the
your business
EIN number.
name? Is it under
Huh?
your business name?
Yes, it's under Richardson
Okay.
Carrier. Yes.
Okay.
all right, let's just move on. So
Then it is business account.
So, Ms. Richardson, back on topic, what do you think pros and cons from leasing a truck, paying cash on a truck, or buying a truck? Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Leasing always a con to me. Sorry, it's just a con to me. The con is I look at it that I wasn't able to go home because I had to be on the road. Nobody shouldn't live that way. To me, they shouldn't.
Okay.
Cash truck is the key because it's yours.
If you have the money to if you're buying a gently used truck, I mean you still have to have maintenance money of some sort, whether it's
Yeah.
credit or cash. So you
Yeah.
can't spend your last dollar on a truck, be broke, and then run it.
Yes. And
I
don't get
don't
me
care
wrong.
if it's a $200,000 truck, you're still going to have downtime. I
Well,
mean, you
I'm
still
not.
got to pay yourself, right? Because
I'm not going to
these
encourage
trucks
nobody to
give
buy
you
a
a
truck right
warranty.
now.
There's a
I'm not going to
warranty
encourage no
because
one.
it's
I'm not going to
expected
do it.
to break down. It's expected to break down. That's why it's under warranty, because not everything is torqued the way it should be. It's going to go in the shop. Now, can you afford that downtime when it's in the shop? I don't know. That's up to you. But you got to have money. You can't give your last dollar. And you're a cash ran company. You can't put your last dollar in this truck and then expect that everything's going to be okay. Because you may not be able to pay your mortgage. You may not be able to pay your electric bill.
Well,
because you're not making revenue.
Here's the thing, right? If you buy a cash truck and you're up and running with your own authority and your own stuff, in worst case scenario, you couldn't pay for something, you can still park your truck, get a job, you don't lose nothing, right? So that's a gamble. If that's a gamble you want to take, that's up to you to take that gamble, right? If you got just fuel money in the thing, you might be able to make some runs and build your account up real quick, up to $20,000, $30,000 before something might happen. So it's just up to you. So there's different scenarios on stuff like that. And there's difference in pros and cons on leasing and buying and all that. And it always depends on the structure of the lease, the structure on when you're buying a truck and what cash truck did you buy? Again, you could buy a $5,000 cash truck or a brand spanking new cash truck. You know what I mean? Melvin, chasing Andrew Jackson's formula is exactly what I teach. I've been talking to Chasing Andrew Jackson way before he even bought the flat top, but I agree. And
Now, is anybody confused on what I do?
it doesn't matter. It's not us to understand.
It
It's up
matters
to
to
you to
me,
understand.
but it might not matter to you. But it matters to me. I just don't want to make
You're good.
nobody seem like, oh, she's confused. No, I'm not
You're
confused
good.
because
You're good.
everybody have different formulas, and everybody
Absolutely right.
formula ain't for everybody.
Right.
A business formula is a business formula, and that's just it's just. I mean, if you got an apple pie and you cut it 4 times, I don't care what knife you bought. I don't care how you cooked the apple pie. I don't care what ingredients is in apple pie. It's cut 4 times. So the formula never changes on business. It never changes. The only thing that changes is people and their understanding. But I'm trying to stay on topic on pros and cons you know, and it's not up to me, Mr. Richardson, to figure, you know, to understand what you got going on, or anybody in the chat. It doesn't even matter. You're doing your way. I ain't shit in no one's life. My opinion ain't shit. My fact, you know, it's just whatever. So your pros and cons, you saying cash is the way to go, you know. So
For me, it is.
right. And I agree. Cash is always cash, you know, is always the best way to do things, because if you guys bought a truck, right? We're not talking about leasing. If you guys bought a truck and something happened, whatever, your mom got sick, she passed away, you had to get off the road, you know, whatever, and you have to park that truck. If it's cash, it ain't gonna cost you nothing. If you're on a payment, it's gonna cost you that payment. So when you
But
buy
if you
a
didn't
truck,
pay cash, you'd have the money for the payment. So
say what?
If you didn't pay cash, and let's say you had the money, but you chose not to spend the money on the cash, but actually financed it, you'd have that money for that payment. Just like a rebuild. You can pay cash for a rebuild,
but plus
or
interest.
you can finance a rebuild.
So
I would rather
interest.
finance a rebuild than pay cash for it.
But James, you're assuming they got money in the bank. You just
You're
sit back
assuming they
and
got
talked
money in the
about
bank
how
when they're
people are
paying
doing.
cash.
You just said how people are doing paycheck to paycheck and all this other kind of stuff. So
Company guys for the most part.
So regardless, right? A cash truck ain't gonna cost you nothing. If
Oh, it
regardless
costs you
how you're
something.
structured and what's in your bank and all that, it's still gonna cost you a payment, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say you had the $30,000 or whatever, $50,000 in the bank to pay cash for the truck. We chose to make payments, and life happens. You have to park the truck, right? You might have to bury your mom or your dad or your cousin or whatever.
And
There
I
goes
still
some of
got the
that truck
30,000
money.
in the account. I still have the
that
30,000 liquid.
There goes that money for the truck.
What would
And you still got the truck payment. And
you
I
could get a company job and pay for that truck note. I could work
I
at
think I
McDonald's.
see
not
what
my
James
scenario.
is saying.
James, that's not even my scenario. My scenario was if you have to stay home and not work. Listen to my scenario for a second.
Yeah.
If you have to stay home and not go to work because you lost a family member, where in that is that saying go back being his company driver? That's not even my
but
scenario.
you got 30 grand. If I needed to get a rebuild on this truck, and I've got the cash to put a rebuild in,
That's not
I'm
the
not paying
scenario,
cash
bro.
for a rebuild.
I agree with you, but that's not the scenario I'm giving out.
Yeah, well,
You got to follow the scenario. I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
you.
think I
I'm not
know.
disagreeing.
I know
But
what James
I'm
is
telling
saying.
Right.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The scenario that I'm giving out, and I know it's going to go far left and far right. The scenario, all I'm saying is, if you pay cash for a truck, you don't got to worry about it. It's sitting there. It ain't costing you no insurance. It ain't, because you can take the insurance off of it. You can sit home for a whole year, take care of mom, dad, cousin, uncle, whatever, because they're sick or whatever. You can sit there and take care of them. And yes, you should have money in the bank for your house bills. If you're making a payment on a truck, you can't take the insurance off of it. If you're making even if you have the money to pay cash for the truck, and you have to take home time for a long time to take care of somebody for whatever happens, you have to have physical damage on that truck while it sits on the side of your house.
Which should already be paid for. You shouldn't be paying payments on insurance. You should be paying it up front. It'll cost $2,000 to $3,000 more a year paying payments on it. Pay a year. My last insurance bill was 16 grand. Just write a check for it.
Yeah, but he's speaking of the average truck driver, bro.
You guys are funny. First, when I speak on something, SoCal, that's not the average trucker. Most of them are check to check and they don't do business right. So then I do a scenario. Next thing you know is why they make a payment on the insurance? They should pay cash.
Paying cash, paying insurance.
And I think I know what James is saying. And I pinpointed is what he's saying is if he's gonna lease, have the money.
Yes.
And that's it. If you're going to lease, have the money in case something happens.
I wasn't even talking about leasing.
No, I'm talking about what James is trying to get out. That's what he's trying to get out.
The only reason why I didn't talk about leasing because I don't want people in their goddamn feelings when I say lease. So I talk about buying a truck and paying cash for a truck. So my whole scenario, which life gets in the way at times, and individuals have to take time off regardless. Maybe they couldn't get a goddamn medical card. Maybe whatever, health, whatever the situation may be, a cash truck costs you $0.
Yeah.
$0. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay the insurance for the year up. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And if you're making payments, yeah, you had to fork up the 16 grand for the year of insurance, but that's 16 grand you paid on insurance for to sit there, not make no money. When the cash truck is in there, you could take the insurance off of it.
Yeah. I prefer to use other people's money. I'll just say that. I prefer to
And
use
there
other
you
people's
go.
money.
And there you go.
I'm not using my money. I'll use somebody else's money.
And cash trucking,
I don't do shit.
we don't
with
want
my
to
own money
use
except pay
anybody else's
taxes
money.
and insurance. Everything else is financed.
And
I
so
use other
you get
people's
the
money.
loans and the credit cards and all that stuff. Okay.
That's it. That's how I
See,
do it.
me, I don't get the loan and the credit cards and all that stuff. I don't need that.
Yeah.
DJ the
Well,
trucker.
you may not need it today.
DJ the trucker. Nobody understood my scenario. Nobody did. So fuck it. It is what it is. It just is what it is. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I agree with the cash trucking, but like I said, leasing, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, it's a tough.
Pros all the way in cash truck. Sorry. That's me. And now you got my opinion, and we good.
and even if it were a cash truck, I'd still finance it and keep the cash. Just because
I'm not financing the cash truck.
Even if I got the cash, I'd rather finance it. I'd rather finance it.
All I'm doing is giving out some scenarios. I'm not saying which way I would do it, or you would do it, or anybody else would do it.
But let's say the scenario.
Let me mute while the printer goes off.
And I understand that if I paid cash for it, it could sit there and do nothing. I could take the insurance off. But let's say I have that $30,000 to buy this truck, and then I finance it instead. I still have that $30,000 to pay for the truck payment and pay for the insurance, so I could still be off the same amount of time because I still got the $30K. So it to me, I'm not understanding.
I would say to each his own.
Doesn't now because you have a truck note now you can't pay for it. I mean, you still got the $30K.
To each his own.
Hey, let me mute. Continue on, guys. We got to keep the printer. We got to keep the printer blowing people's eardrums out. I'm gonna mute. Continue the show until this printing stuff gets done. Continue on, guys.
To each his own. To each his own. My lane might work, might not work for your lane.
That's it. There's a million ways to do this. There's a million ways.
To each his own. I'm not upset, mad, or angry. Like I said, we happy over here at Richardson Land. Trust me. Exactly. Just go to my YouTube channel. You can see for yourself.
Cash is king. I love credit. Credit's king. But is right
and
or wrong?
Guess what? We still get along.
We're still out here, still doing it. Exactly. We're still doing it. It don't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter how many times what different way you peel an apple. At the end of the day, the apple's peeled. That's it.
Exactly.
The apple's still peeled.
See, I'm cool with everybody.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I'm with you. It don't matter. Let's use common sense. That's sometimes not all that common.
I'll put it back up there. There you go, James.
Yeah,
I apologize.
If you're sitting at home and can't make any money, that's worst case scenario. Well, that's where you got your $30,000 kid. You can still pay for your mortgage. You can still pay for your truck payment, all that stuff. How long? Well, that depends on how much your kitty. How big's your kitty?
Yeah,
depends how big your kitty is.
I'm gonna get out at 65.
Oh, I'm absolute. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm gonna keep driving till I can't drive no more.
So I'm not driving shit.
But I don't drive like you, James. Oh wait,
I don't drive at all.
Never mind.
I drove 1 week last year. The entire year I was out 1 week. And And that was 1 week too
Oh my gosh.
many.
Yeah, somebody has some
1 week
background
too
noise.
many.
It wasn't mine.
Hang on a second, guys. Continue on, James and guys.
So when I'm 65, I'm out.
Yep.
You would say,
Yeah. I've got zero intentions to be back in the truck.
unless it goes up to 67, I'm out then.
Buy that silver and get that Social Security, and then you have your truck. You can lease somebody into it and still make money, and you just don't have to be driving anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I've
I
only
give
been
it to my
doing this.
son.
I've only had a CDL for 5 years, and I haven't driven for 2. Well, 6 years, I guess. 6 years I've had a CDL. I haven't driven in the last 2 years. I've had contractors in the truck.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to my
And to
son.
be
Just
honest with
call
you,
it
it
a
takes me
day.
about 15 minutes a week to take care of payroll,
15 minutes a
all of
week.
that shit.
That's awesome.
15 minutes a week is all I work.
Here's a question for you guys. I'll read it for.
You
Well,
pay
you pay
cash
cash
for
for
fuel
fuel too.
Yes and no. I use the NASTIC card, so I have that coming out every day, so that anytime my contractor swipes fuel, I'm paying for it right away. I just get the fuel discount. But yeah, absolutely. I'm not paying cash out of pocket because I'm not getting the discount, but they pull it out of my account every day.
They pull mines out of my settlement.
Yeah.
So is that a yes and a no?
Well, they
Can I
pay it out
answer?
of they take it out of my account, and then I take it out of Oster's settlement at the end of the week.
Mine,
So I get all that
mine's
money
come out
back.
of mine's come out of my settlement every week.
Yeah.
So is that a yes and a no? Can I say that's a yes and a no?
Yeah. I would say that's you're financing it.
You can say as you wish.
Yeah,
Oh my
you're
Lord.
financing it for a week. You pay cash. So Shannon, you've got a wallet full of cash that you pay in at the register when you get $500, you put $500 on the counter? Because that's what paying cash is. That's what paying cash is.
I'm not finna have
I'm
no
not driving around with
$1,200
thousands
in
of
my
dollars.
pocket. I'm not finna do it. I'm not finna have $1,200 on me.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I save the most by paying cash? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because you're not using a fuel card paying cash.
So really quick, James, in your trucking business,
Yep.
Do you have a lease truck? Are you paid off, or are you making payments on the truck?
I'm still making payments on the truck. 902 27 is the truck and trailer note. But I sold a trailer, so I'm selling the trailer on payments, and those payments pay for my tractor and trailers. So yeah, I'm paying payments, but physically, am I paying payments? No, I'm not paying payments.
Kylie, you can unmute if you like, Kylie. Are you in a cash truck? I know you said this before, but I'm just reiterating. Do you have a cash truck? Are you paying on a lease truck, or are you buying a truck right now?
This is a full maintenance lease to lease. I'm using this to go cash.
What's your percentage
Can I
over
get
there,
a
if you don't
percentage?
mind? What's your percentage on
88.
88%?
88%. Yeah.
Nice.
I see like 4,000 to 6,000 a week. Nothing to brag about.
And I remember Miss Richardson said she paid cash for the truck.
Yeah.
So here we go. So here's the situation of the people in the panel. If you guys want to join, you guys can feel free to come in here and ask us questions if you like. So I think we pretty much covered pros and cons. What up, Flatbed Rick? My whole thing is this, guys. I always take, like I tell you guys, I always like the worst case scenario, right? And always the worst case scenario is pay cash for a truck, because if anything happens, now I don't give a goddamn what how you got in the bank. Let's take every bullshit out of the situation. If you have a cashed out truck, you have 100% control. They'll park it for 5 years if you want to, and it won't cost you nothing. starting out in business, you guys are learning, and most of you guys, like James and everybody said, you're not understanding business. You're not understanding a lot of stuff. You're still learning. Maybe you're getting into it too fast and everything else. So to me, it makes sense to pay cash for something. So when you're making mistakes, you're not going to lose your business. Now, if you don't have cash to pay cash for a truck and you're doing like what Bag Chaser's doing, which is damn camera just screwed off again. So here he comes on another screen. Hang on a second. I'm not sure what he's doing wrong here, but there we go. But if you're doing, let's say Bag Chaser, let's say you don't have the money to pay cash for a truck or a down payment or the credit or whatever, and you feel you're gonna go lease a truck and you feel you're gonna make more money, and with the leased with the lease thing, whatever, you did all your numbers, your business plan, your whole situation, and you feel that benefits you more to accelerate your bank account to pay cash for a truck. I get it and I understand it. So I can never tell anybody do it this way or do it that way. But when you pay something off, ownership on anything just trucking, it's a semi truck, it's a house, right? They can't ever take your house from you. If you got ill will, sick, whatever, you couldn't work a day in your life again, you get to keep your house, your cars. People always want to downplay ownership, and I never understand that.
I don't know if it's downplaying ownership. It's like if you look at Donald Trump doesn't build these hotels with cash. He finances it. He uses other people's money.
We don't really
that
know
asset
we
in
don't,
turn
hang
pays.
on. We're assuming again, James. We are assuming.
That's a goddamn fact.
Show me.
Paying cash
Put
for
on the
these
glass.
hotels.
Put on the glass. Put on the glass.
That's a goddamn fact.
Show me.
He ain't
Show
paying
me.
cash. He's financing.
Show
That
me.
Oh no,
asset
Dr.
in turn
Dr.
pays
Shelby
for the
stuff.
loan and pays him. He ain't paying
Show me.
cash for shit.
Show me. Show me.
That's a goddamn fact.
Show me.
I mean,
Show me.
people
It
that
ain't
are
a
in
fact if you
real
can't
estate,
show it.
they finance houses. The renters pay the mortgage and pays them. That's how.
Show me.
Because if we're waiting to get $180,000
Whatever
to
you
buy a
speak
fucking
of,
rental
show
property, we're
me is all
gonna
I'm
be
asking.
sitting
Show
for a
me.
minute.
Show me.
That's a goddamn. That's
If
just
it's
a fact.
factual, you can show it to me. If it's factual.
Well, if they have mortgages. They got mortgages.
Show me one.
Just
You're
because
speaking on other people.
Okay, show me all your titles for all of
your.
your trucks. Show me all your titles. I mean, I can't go to Trump Tower and say, give me the deed on this thing, or the bank note. The bank note, the bank stuff. I can't put it on the glass. I can't put it on the glass.
So here's the whole thing, right? So there's a lot of scenarios you can do. Just like I told you guys, right, Ms. Richardson? I told all you guys when Back Chaser said, what if I buy a truck in my own name? I said you can pay cash in your own name and you can lease it to your trucking company. So the reality is your trucking company don't own the truck. They're making payments, right? It's the same thing in real estate. People do the same shit in real estate. You might not think somebody might not own something, but they might, right? They got the corporate veil, whatever, protecting, who's the owner of it, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with going and buying a house and renting and making money that way either. But understand something. If you own a house outright and the rent is $4,000 a month, the whole $4,000 goes in your pocket.
Odds are, if you were in real estate and you own the house outright, you're using that to hedge another finance. And that's how you continue to buy more and more. You're cashing out the escrow and you're buying a bigger house or an apartment complex. You're always hedging. You're always hedging. And you're always I'm not saying always use other people's money. I like the business aspect of using other people's money. To pay cash, if I got $200,000 cash, I will still fund it. I will use other people's money.
If it makes sense. If it don't make sense, then you don't do it.
Well, it doesn't even need it.
James.
No. So, it doesn't make sense not to use other people's money.
So if somebody's going to charge you 35% interest, you use their money?
No, because
I think I can help him. It does make sense. Well, here's the thing, James. You got to remember, and a lot of people can think like you, and a lot of people can't think like you.
Yes, I
Me,
agree.
I can't think like you in that aspect of using other people's money, because my thing with me, if I'm owing someone, and this is just my experience, my opinion, if I'm owing someone, I don't have that peace of mind. Because why? I'm constantly owing you that money. I'm constantly giving you that money back, because you're going to have to get it back. That's the key word you got to say.
You're
When you
gonna get it
owe,
back, but
you're
do
going
you
to have to
want
give
to
it
take
back. But
you
here's the
want
thing:
to
if I
take
pay you
200 grand out
cash,
of your account and buy a brand new truck, or do you just or do you want the asset to pay for that payment? The
I ain't
asset's
worried
paying for
about
that
the
payment.
asset. I'm worried about my peace of mind. I have to have a peace of mind. If I do it in cash, I have a peace of mind.
$26,000 in a maintenance account is not peace of mind. Having
Okay, you can
hundreds of
go back
thousands
to
of
that
dollars
and
in
say
credit
that. I'm
line,
going on
that's
your
peace of
narrative, what
mind.
you said. You can
That's
use
peace of
that all
mind.
you want. I'm going about what you said. It's all to me is a peace of mind.
But 26,000 in a maintenance account is not peace of mind because that
Okay,
doesn't that
it is
covers
for me.
maybe a rebuild.
It is for me. Might not be
What if
for
you
you
rebuild and a
because you
transmission?
borrowing other
What if you
people's
had a
money.
rebuild and a
I don't have to
transmission?
do that.
You
And the
wouldn't
thing
have it.
is, James, I'm still working and I can add more money to that. It just ain't only 25. It
Well,
builds
what if
up.
it went out last month?
No,
What
I
if the
can build it
transmission
up.
and engine went out last month?
I
Would
can
you still
build
be
it
in
up,
business today?
James, with a peace of mind
So,
and not with other people's money.
so really quick,
I've
hang
got
on,
well over
hang on. Let's
20
pause
some
this real
thousand.
quick.
I
Let's
mean,
pause this because we're trying to keep this educational. Let's pause
Yeah.
this one second. Respectfully,
I
let's
can
pause
literally
this real
sit
quick.
for a year
Hang on,
and not worry about money.
James. Hang on a second. Listen, guys. Here's the whole thing, guys. I'm trying to teach you guys on something which I spoke on earlier. If you're getting into trucking, because I got this one dude right here saying, "Hey, SoCal, is all your trucks paid off, buddy?" Bro, is this my first year in trucking? What's that got to do with I'm trying to teach you guys the safest way your first year in trucking. So SoCal, it's my first year in trucking, bro. So let's talk about my first year in trucking. Okay. RJKS trucking. Let's talk about it. My very first year in trucking, my truck was paid the fuck off. It was paid off. Cash. Let me tell you something else since you're asking me personally. I had the money to buy a brand spanking new truck. I was in real estate. I made some good choices. I had over 6 figures in the bank. I paid cash for a W-9. I put it in Kenworth for another 3 months. Turned that bitch into a show truck when I came out. That's what I did. Today, almost 20 years later, I'm established, bro. I'm established. Me being established, James being established, Miss Richardson being established, and got shit to do with the guy working at Swift that wants to get into the trucking business and trying to figure out the best, safest way for him to go. RJKS trucking. So what do you want? Why don't you jump on the board, bro, and speak your mind, bro? Seriously.
Oh, Lord.
Because what I'm
And
doing is
Mr.
I'm
Soka,
different.
I
not
done
What
told
I'm
you
established.
doing
about
is
these.
different. What I'm doing is different, right? There's the hat. That's my
That's a
truck. That's
badass
my
hat,
trailer.
SoCal. That's a badass hat.
Speaking of that,
Remember, SoCal, you got crabs in the bucket.
enjoy.
Don't want to
My
feed
hat's
you
the
down.
hat
Pull
trucker
you
blue.
down.
I got crabs. They ain't
There
in
you
no
go.
bucket.
So in
Hope
my
ain't on the
mentor
plate.
program, right? So in my mentor program, I've taught people fresh out of school how to get a truck, how to build a fleet, the whole situation I taught. Everybody's situation is different. I can't tell somebody, go do this because I don't know your situation. I can't say, go finance a truck. What if your house bill is $10,000 a month? The last thing you ever want to do when you have a high ass overhead in your personal is go get more debt. Right? Anybody agree with that? And everybody
If you
knows.
can't handle your personal, then yeah, more debt ain't it.
But the
And the
thing
whole
is,
thing,
we not, and the thing is, they think we telling them to go do it. I ain't telling you to do shit. It's just like,
Some people
do what
can't
you
handle credit.
do.
Some people think that if they've got a $10,000 credit line, that they've got to go buy something to establish credit. So then they're buying shit that they don't need. They're spending money on that they don't have, If you want to establish credit, get a credit card, put your electric bill on it, put something that you're already paying for on that card. That you don't go buy stuff, but some people can't handle credit. You give them $100,000 credit line, they're looking at buying a new car, they're looking at buying big TVs or whatever.
The problem that we have,
that ain't
really
it.
quick, we got a new member. I got to shout the person out. K-Dot, I appreciate you rocking with me, man, on the membership, man. I appreciate that. And Shannon says she agrees. Not sure what she agrees on, but she's agreeing on something. She really didn't put on too much. Now, instead of him jumping in here, he's going to say, no, I'm asking because my trucks are paid off, to just asking a question. Damn, I'm with paid off trucks. I get you, brother. I get you, but you're established, it seems like, bro. See, the problem I'm trying to tell you guys, man, is we're in 2022.
Paid off truck is that a cash truck, though? Was it paid off because he financed it, or did he pay cash for it? Because paid off truck means
that's true.
James is there
Paid off
finance.
truck
you might
ain't
have
a
a paid
cash
off
truck.
truck, but is it a cash truck?
Now the printer's got to calibrate. So a paid off truck is not a cash truck. Okay. But all I'm trying to do, see, there's trucking 101, there's trucking 102, there's trucking 103, there's trucking 104. Education levels is different, right? It keeps going up, right? When I'm on here, today is pros and cons on buying cash and all that for a person trying to get into trucking. And a lot of the rules, even if you're establishing in trucking, doesn't change at all. It doesn't. But it depends on your business. Depends on your business plan. It depends on your projections. There's so much it depends on. I can't tell you guys do this, do that. I can tell you one thing to go do that's going to be bulletproof. You can always say, go pay cash for a truck and it'll never hurt you because you'll never lose the truck. If I say, go lease a truck, like Bag Chaser here, and then you lose the lease, now you're like, SoCal told me to go lease a truck. My grandmother, whatever, I had to go home, I had to take care of her 6 months, and I lost my damn lease truck, and SoCal told me to go lease a truck, it was okay. Or if I said go buy a truck, same scenario. You didn't make the payments, you lost the truck. But if I say bulletproof, worst case scenario, bulletproof, if you don't know how to pay bills, the whole bulletproof thing, the whole sky falls down on you, and the whole trucking company went down to 2 cents a mile, and everything just went to all kinds of shit. You have a cash truck sitting at the house, which is equity, which at any time you can borrow against your truck if you had to. If you had that much of an emergency, you can borrow money against that truck because it's an asset. You ain't borrowing against a lease truck. You're not borrowing against a truck making payments. So this is why I tell people that are learning, pay cash for a truck. Because I can speak on that, and no matter what the fuck happens, you don't lose the lease. You don't lose the cash truck. You understand what I'm saying?
I still don't think. I get it, but I still, even if I had a loan on it, I still wouldn't lose it because I've got the money to do it. I just don't see why I would want to use my money to buy it. I can't comprehend that. Because let's say if I do have the $200,000 in cash to buy a brand new truck, I'd still finance it, and I still have that $200,000. So if something did happen, I'm still able to cover the payments on it.
Well, James, pay attention, James.
Yes.
Well, James.
I want that hat. I want that hat. And you tormented me the entire time you're in Vegas with that hat.
I agree with that. I agree with that first comment that you put up there about what that person said about the cash trucks. A lot of us paid cash trucks right now. It wouldn't be a lot of us out here because we live paycheck to paycheck.
We do, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's some cases where we live paycheck to paycheck, and in order to save, even to save 30 grand, again, why would you pay? This just is me. Why would you pay 30 grand on a cash truck and not finance?
Absolutely you. It's absolutely you. Tell them how many credit
We
cards you
know
have.
we
I
did it.
wouldn't. Well, what the odds are is they're
Hang
going to
on.
say, I
Let's
can't
speak
get a
on
loan
James real
for it,
quick.
so I
And
have
ain't
to
that
pay cash.
James.
Then why do you have bad credit if you got 30 grand in your account? Why do you have bad credit? Because you chose not to pay your creditors? I just don't get it. I don't
I don't have
you know.
bad credit. I just wanted the peace of mind.
But the peace of mind is having the worst case scenario if everything blew up on your truck that you could get it fixed. And
Yes,
when you're
sir.
working with cash, do you feel that you have that
Yes,
security?
sir. Yes.
That anything that goes wrong with that,
Yes.
you got all that
See,
covered with cash.
how you
So
say
you
it
could
in another
get a
language?
rebuild, you could get a new rear end, you could get a new transmission, and
Yes,
all
I
drive tires,
can.
rear tires.
Yes,
You
I
can do
can.
all of that.
I'm
Yes, I
explain
can.
why. I'm gonna explain why. When you have a title to a truck, you can borrow against that truck and go get a rebuild if you have to. If you didn't have the money. What
I
up,
don't even
James
have to do
Haley?
that. I don't even have to do that because yes, I can.
But you
We're
said
not
not to
picking on
say
you
that you
though.
don't have
Right,
it, but you
right.
I ain't
said
Hang
you
gonna,
on,
got
hang on,
James.
25
hang
I'm
on,
grand
not
in
gonna.
hang on,
leasing.
I'm
hang
not
on,
gonna put
hang
every.
on,
I'm not
hang
gonna
on.
put
25
everything on
grand
here,
to get a
James. Come on
transmission,
now.
rear
I
end.
ain't gonna put all my accounts and
I got
RAs and
you.
all that stuff. I ain't
Listen.
gonna do that now.
See, here's what's wrong with a lot of things, right? Too many people get personally involved with conversation, right? I'm not talking about James Trucking. I'm not talking about Miss Richardson Trucking. I'm not talking about SoCal Trucking. I'm not talking about anybody in the comment trucking, right? So there's no back and forth and all this kind of stuff. We're just talking in general, right?
Oh, I didn't
James,
know we were going back and
you're
forth.
running
I
a
thought
great
we were
business.
having a
You're running a great
conversation.
business. Miss Richardson, you're running a great business. You know, most people running a great business. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
but regardless if you can or can't pay cash, whatever, the great thing about having a title to anything, if worst case scenario happened, you could borrow against it. You don't lose it. What do you guys say, James Haley? James Haley, are you there?
I'm here. What was the question?
James
Is that
Haley,
my
I
question?
guess. All right, James Haley, what do you guys say?
What on what?
No, not you. Oh, James Haley just left. No, it was James Haley.
Oh,
Where the hell that was?
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, I'm just learning that basically you just gotta have your money together whenever you decide to get a truck.
And
money and or
and
credit.
knowledge.
Money
And
and or
knowledge.
credit.
But neither one of those ain't good without knowledge.
Right.
If you have
If you're not
credit,
good with money, you ain't gonna be good with credit.
Well,
right. If you don't have
you
knowledge,
gotta
you're not
have
gonna do
some
good with your
access to
money.
capital to
You're not
make
gonna do
something
good
happen.
with your credit either.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Go ahead, Haley. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, just a shout out SoCal. I just bought an old raggedy 2015 Freightliner. I'm trying to wait for you to get back to those videos on restoring it.
Mm-hmm. We were gonna do it today, but it turned out to be a goddamn holiday, and holidays, everything's freaking closed. So yeah, so I'm definitely excited to get back to those. You know what I mean? But yeah, today's a freaking holiday, so I figured I would I would help you guys with pros and cons.
Yeah, but
go ahead, Haley.
Yeah. Well, I just
How many
wanted to
miles
hop
are
on
on a
real quick and
raggedy
tell y'all thank you for the
2015
advice.
Cascade?
Good listening to you guys. There's plenty of different ways to skin a cat, so let's just make it happen.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, right? Hang on, James. Here's the thing. Everybody says there's different ways to skin a cat, but it's only one cat and one skin. And that's the part that I try to teach. There's one cat and one skin.
Yeah.
It don't matter what knife you buy to skin it. It's one cat, one skin. You better skin it the right way. You're going to fuck it all up.
Yep, you better know how to skin it.
So James Bass has a question for you, Haley, real quick. And welcome to the channel JPTV.
What's up, bro?
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
How many
teach me how to
miles are
sharpen
on a raggedy 2015 Cascade?
Haley, how many miles do you have on your truck?
1 million or 1.5 million.
Holy shit.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
Are those original?
1.5.
That's got to be. That had to have been a team truck.
Team truck, yeah.
Its entire life, it was a team truck. And I bet you're not even. You're probably not even.
There we go. Assuming, James. Stop assuming.
Listen, that's just too many miles. You can't do the math.
That's too many miles.
James,
listen to my question. Listen to my question first before you say that. Are those original miles?
Oh, we sorry.
Haley, are those original miles?
Yes.
It's a 2015. Even if it's so 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that's 7 years. Most people get at best 100,000 miles a year. That's 700,000 miles. So let's just say they did 120,000 miles a year as a solo operator. That's 720. So what's that? 820,000 miles. He's got 1.5. That motherfucker. That thing ain't never been turned off. That thing's been rolling for 7 years straight.
Well, can we ask him? Was it a team truck before he bought it?
I wouldn't be afraid of that truck at all. That's all easy miles, baby. Easy miles.
Mr. Henley, was that a team truck before you brought it? Was it used as a team truck before you brought it?
It had to be. What are the engine hours on that truck?
No idea, honestly.
Do you know what the engine hours are?
Okay.
Bro, Haley, man. He came in here just to speak on some stuff, boy. Goddamn.
Do you know the engine hours of that truck? Engine hours. Do you know what the engine hours are?
I think you got a bad connection. Anyway, JPTV 3000, what's up, buddy? What do you got to say?
Man, I want to give a big shout out to you guys, man. The information that you guys give out is awesome. Always checking out, what you guys are talking about. SoCal, I had to subscribe to you, man. I thought I was, man, but I had another account that I was subscribed to you, but now I'm subscribed to you on my main channel. Also, man, I do have a question for you.
Thank you.
I bought
questions are dangerous on this panel today. God damn it! Woo! God, here it goes. There goes another forest fire I got to put out. No, I'm playing. Go ahead, bro. I'm just playing.
Hey, man, well, the thing is, I'm already got another truck. Like I hadn't really been talking about it very much. I got a 1988 Freightliner FLC with the big cam 400 in it, and I'm just kind of wondering, like, if you guys ever been familiar with that motor, because the truck runs good, man.
Yeah.
And I got this truck for, man, what I paid for that truck, I could have bought a used car around the corner. I couldn't turn it down, man.
Big Cam 400 is a bulletproof engine. It's one of the back in the earlier years. That was one of the best Cummins that they made.
Yeah, and it comes to find out that it was reconditioned by Cummins in 1996. So it's like when I looked it up, it's not a 1988. It's a reconditioned 1996.
Well, it's still old. I mean, 96, even reconditioned. I mean, you're looking at what? 96, you're talking 20-year-old truck? Or, at 15 years on that engine? I mean, she's looking for another overhaul.
Actually, man.
Well, you're assuming again. What if it hasn't been driven since 1996?
Well, that's even worse. That's even worse.
Not on the big cam. Not on the big cam. You have to realize a big cam 400. That's a mechanical engine. You can park those things for 25 years. Go back.
Still got gaskets and all that other stuff. So you're still opening it up.
And it runs like a top. I got it over there at a Big Boys mechanic shop, and man, it runs like a top. It's just like little small stuff, like it's got an oil leak and it's got a fuel leak. Other than that, man, that thing smokes my International 9900 all day long.
Yeah. That big cam 400 replaced the small cam 350.
I appreciate that, man.
Those small cam 350s, and they came out of that big cam 400, and that was the boss of the road. That was the boss of the road until Caterpillar said, "Shit, I gotta get that 4 1/4 out there," and then Cat put that 4 1/4, and then so that big cam 400 was running against that big that 4 1/4 Cat.
Now let me ask y'all this, man. Does it even seem like the heavy duty truck engine market is competing with each other to make the best engine anymore?
I pause it one more time.
is the truck engine market. You know, Caterpillar, well, not a Caterpillar, but a Cummins, Detroit, Volvo. Does it seem like they're competing to make the best engine?
No.
Not right now. Hell, some of them just stop.
Yeah.
Well, no, a lot of people are just trying to they're trying to chase their tail with all the regulations and stuff that keeps getting back against them. So they're not worried about what any other manufacturer's doing. They're trying to just stay in business for themselves.
Yeah. And also one of the other things that made me get this truck was, one, the deal, two, the condition that the truck is in and the way that it drove. And the other thing is the big Cam 400, and it's the BC4. Man, that motor is dirt cheap, and the rebuilds on them are nothing.
And this goes all the way back around that time frame when they said if you go get a Detroit or you go get a Cummins, it was cheap as hell to rebuild, and the Cat was expensive to rebuild. That's where that time frame came in. Today's day, the new engines, they all cost the same. But back then, you're absolutely right. It was cheap as hell to rebuild one of those.
Out of here. So, Cal, I gotta bounce out. We just got Rogue Knight came in, so we're gonna go hang out with him and go see Vegas.
Sounds great, buddy.
All right, later, brother.
Later. So Soul gave $2, man. What's up, Soul? How you doing, buddy? So yeah. So any other questions? Because I gotta jump off, get going my day, my dang self, man. But anybody have any questions for me?
Nope. I'm still waiting on my load.
Nice.
Gotta go make the money Monday through Friday.
Well, today's a holiday, but I understand.
Oh, hey, Monday through Friday for me, sugar. We don't stop.
I think somewhere around like Thursday or so, I'm gonna be hauling some buses. I'm gonna be doing, I'll be doing a lot of membership content on how to haul buses and oversize and all that good stuff. So,
are y'all gonna get on some of the government contracts?
I used to do government stuff. They don't like to pay.
Oh, they don't? Oh.
Okay. Because then, I mean, the rates are always good. They just don't want to pay on time.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I'm good on that. I mean, can you trust the government to do anything? The only thing they do on time is pay the bullshit all that free shit. That's the only thing they do on time. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that is our live feed, and welcome to all the members that came in today and joined up, and I really, really appreciate that, guys, and I appreciate everybody in the panel. And, I'm not sure when I'll go live again, but we will continue on this series of rebuilding and all the good stuff, man. And just understand, when you guys get into the trucking business, not when you're established, when you get into the trucking business, try to have a business plan the best as you can. Try to do projections the best you can. Have a piece of paper on leasing, paying cash, buying. You yourself, this whole video is about today was learning how to do pros and cons on everything that you want to do. Now, that's anything. You go meet a girl, do pros and cons on that female if you want to marry her. What's the pros and cons? Well, shit, she's dirty as shit. That's a con. You know what I'm saying? Her mouth, like a sailor. That's So, but that's what I'm trying to teach, right? So it's not just trucking in general.
Men would say pro and a con with the mouth.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to show you guys how to establish pros and cons of anything that you guys do, man, and write a list, and that dictates pretty much your decision.
Good content, very good content. I appreciate you.
So all that being said, guys, thank you guys, and until next time, hit the like button, show attendance, guys.
Until next time.
Peace.
All right,